Just right into live.
Okay. So
Hey, welcome to the stream. We're not ready.
I pushed the magic button before we were ready for
All
the
right,
magic
we're
button.
streaming.
So what time
Next
is
time,
it?
don't hit start stream. Next time.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to learn how to do this.
Okay. Well.
And you know how computers are.
Hey, everybody.
Push a button.
We don't care. There's buttons. We press them. Then things happen. All right. So here we are in the shop again. It's Friday night.
It's not too bad. I'm only off by 3 minutes.
Okay. If the computer seizes up, that's okay.
We'll see.
Shut the stream down.
It's wide open now. Maybe having that piece of wood away will help.
It might help, yeah. We might get a little better airflow.
You think everybody's gonna come here on Friday night?
Yeah, once that
time?
Tony's shop one is over, I don't know, are they still going? Whenever they're done, we'll probably get people in. So that's fine.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just was.
The other thing was
trying to hurry.
you put up the live notification kind of late, so
I know.
people don't know if we are or not going on when you
Put up a really
it up
good
late.
thumbnail though.
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
Okay, well, I bet I could. I don't know. Maybe I can show it. Maybe not. And I went in there. Interested people are here. If anybody comes in, I put up the. I looked at last night's, and there were like 100 commercials. I cleared it all out because last night I couldn't do it. It won't show it to you till.
Do it right.
Yeah, you gotta wait a while and then.
Okay, scooch over this way, just a hair. I gotta do this. I wanted to say hello. Sorry, guys, we weren't really ready to start, but when you click the wrong button, it has a
Yeah,
mind
she
of
goes,
its own.
"Oh, you just put us live." Yep, I guess I did.
Has a mind of its own. I don't like when the screen is over there because then I'm not looking at the thing.
Well,
If it starts getting hot, now we'll be able to turn it on to the.
Okay. Somehow, well, we moved the camera, but that's all right. I can move the camera back.
I think the problem here
Somebody's here,
is there's multiple calls.
or maybe it's us. Current viewers, could that be us or somebody
there's
else?
probably somebody clicked on it.
Somebody's
just.
just lurking. Okay.
So.
I'm trying to move the camera to where it belongs because I don't know why that happened. It's good for now.
All right. So, we're live in the shop. Hello! Welcome to the stream. I'm Kim of Kim Fixes Things. You can find my channel elsewhere on YouTube where I work on old cars and some other such things other things. Denta Dream Garage is here and Paul Pajui is here.
Good evening.
Welcome, guys. Where on my stream I do revivals and component rebuild tutorials, carburetor adjustment tutorials, stuff that has to do with old cars and broken old junk generally. And I try to keep it light, inject some humor, and sometimes it's a good time. The people who are on my channel seem to like it, but we are a small but mighty community. I am here with Buff Del Campo. You already know that because you are on the Buff Del Campo channel. And it is the Buff Del Campo channel because we are in Campo del Campo, which is the garage shop of everyone's dreams. We have 2.5 bays, all the tools that any idiot could probably try to hurt himself with on any given day. We have this was formerly intended to be an airplane fabrication shop. What kind of airplanes?
But I stopped doing that.
Home built
Yeah,
airplanes?
small experimental airplanes.
Experimental aircraft shop. But Buff Del Campo has kind of aged out of wanting to start new. Well, I mean, it's beyond.
Yeah, I know. I've been flying for 10 years.
It's a big project to design an airplane from scratch. Like 10 years of research and development to really, for maybe less because you've done it before. But
I've done it before, and
it's not what he wants to do. So we have taken a step away and moved back to earlier in your career. Buff Del Campo was an automotive service person. In the military, he was an aircraft, what kind? Jet engine
Jet engine mechanic. Yeah.
mechanic. So he's got a lot of experience and stories to tell. And you guys are here to entertain him. He is here to reciprocate and entertain
I
you.
have a lot of tools. I pull out one at a time.
He has a lot of tools.
One.
A lot
two,
of them are very mundane, but the
3.
the volume of the collection is astounding.
I didn't know what. I just grab stuff and use it, and until I started doing the shorts with the tools, I couldn't believe I could do like over 100 shorts about tools.
I can believe it. And the thing of it is most mechanics have more tools. But they're not all so interesting.
Professional mechanics in a repair shop where they're working on customers' cars every day, this is nothing.
But their set might be a snap-on box with snap-on tools top to bottom, where this is a very eclectic collection over many, many decades. So it is unique. And there are high-end tools. There are bottom of the barrel, clearance, 99-cent clearance bin tools. And
there are free tools.
There's free tools.
This fell out of some junk car we bought.
There's antique tools. So he really loves his tools. So if you ever want to get him talking, ask about a tool. And that will almost certainly bring on a story about some plane or car or some old hot rod that he's been working on in some different place, because he's lived in lots of places in the country, because sometimes you have to chase work in your life. Good
always
short.
good.
I don't know if they're always useful information.
I try. Sometimes, I don't know.
I
look at the comments. There was one today that was really
a good comment.
No, it was like useless.
A bad one?
Yeah, like such useless information or something. I don't remember what he wrote, but that's what he meant. It's like, okay.
And I think
maybe you just don't know how to use tools.
If you are a seasoned mechanic and you know what you're doing and you have all the tools, well, yeah, you're probably not our target audience, because not every short that we make is going to be interesting to every person, but we just keep doing it because it's healthy for a community and for our channel to bring in other people who are interested in old cars and interested in tools and like to work on the shop. And if we can bring those people together. Not everybody lives in close enough proximity to show up for No Name Nationals, but luckily through the power of the internet, we have people from around the world who stop in to visit and chat on a pretty much weekly basis, and we really like that.
I can't believe like several nights a week we have a pretty good worldwide audience.
And we're getting new people from all over the world all the time.
It's fun.
It is fun. And sometimes we are not experts.
Every channel has trolls. Yeah, I'm learning.
We are seasoned, but we are not experts. So there have been times like the day that he pulled that balancer off with the impact wrench, I cringed, but we put it up anyways, right? And then it starts the discussion. People say, well, that might not be the best way to use that. Well, not so kindly.
Well, no,
in unkind ways, they say that might not be the best way.
I didn't intend to drop the thing, but,
Well, I know, but it didn't matter.
I did, and then,
We're working on old slant six engines.
Here comes the criticism.
It is.
You've ruined your shop floor. Yeah, probably not.
It's an old slant six engine. None of this stuff is, and it's not customer cars. These are our cars. So we couldn't work on a customer's car because we don't work fast enough because we're too damn old and slow. I was watching, today I watched, have you ever watched Dry Bones Garage? This young woman and her dad, they're working on a Corvair. You showed me that channel.
Oh, I could have.
They're working on a Corvair. They got a broke down old Corvair. They were making a fiberglass hood for it. That's when you showed me.
That's like a year ago.
They're still working on that Corvair,
They're still working on that Corvair, okay.
And so they were working on the transmission, and they were making a bracket to hold, instead of having the fork actuated throw-out bearing, they had a hydraulic one.
They put a hydraulic.
So they were making a bracket to retrofit. And she started out trying to use a piece of an old bed frame, and I could see it was because she had to cut the part that had the leg off.
Bed frames are extremely hard.
Brittle. Yeah.
Brittle. I learned the hard way. Try to drill through one of those.
Well, they were
won't.
struggling
You
to drill.
won't.
They were
You
burning
won't.
up drill bits.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Amazing.
I was glad they never even got to the welding part, because when you weld on that metal, it tends to crack, not on the weld, but right beside the weld in the heat affected zone. And I thought, clutch fork bracket is probably not a big deal, but I put that in there because they decided to use different metal. So it didn't matter. Like, they had already fixed their own problem, but they never got to the welding part. So I put a comment in there like, hey, great job making that bracket. It's the little things that take a lot of effort, but beware of trying to use that because it is not angle iron.
No, it looks like angle iron.
It is not.
Oh, I learned that the hard way.
And you can get those pieces of metal for cheap or free, but you can't use them for anything structural because welds will break and it's really hard to work with. So I put a comment along the lines of that, is like, be real careful and don't do anything structural with that.
I want you to read what Dented Dreams
Dented Dream Garage says, my slant 6 needs pulled. Tried freeing up 2 stuck valves, stuck down, only to discover, I think, parked a 73 Dart a few decades ago. One push rod hidden by the AC hose eluded my eye until tonight. So you got 2 bent push rods. That push rod is 1...
I think that's 1.5
inches below the other, like the lifter is gone or lobe is gone. Oh.
My first entry into Mopars is not going well. Well, 1973 is, the 2025 cars are out, so that's 52 years old. When I was young, a 52-year-old car was a horse and buggy. So, I look at a 52-year-old car as, you're going to run into some things. But, do you have a cherry picker, engine hoist? And if not, maybe you can rent them in a rental place. We used to rent those things for a day or two and tow them home because they had a little tow hitch on them, and then use them and take them back. Let's see.
Robert Owens says, hey folks, welcome to the stream, Robert. Dented Dreams, that's not so good. Where is Dented Dreams?
Yeah,
Dented Dreams, where are you located? Because slant 6s are not rare and valuable engines.
Oh, you got a cherry picker and A-frame. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I remember the first time I pulled an engine, it was a big deal because I was taking an engine out of a car, and I had a friend that helped me. And it went fairly well because I had some help, but it was a big deal to take an engine out of a car. And then I did another one, and then I did another one. Garland, Nebraska. I'm going to have to look where that is in Nebraska.
Oh, I don't know, but he's going to start seeing cold weather.
Start getting cold.
Man, do you have an inside place to work, or... I mean, your channel name implies that you have a garage.
But then after taking several engines out, I did one by myself, and it was a 1960 Ford Falcon with a 6-cylinder in it. And the 6-cylinder, because everything I'd taken out was V8s, so the 6-cylinder was pretty easy. I could get at the bell housing bolts, and I could get at the motor mounts, and I was working by myself, and I had it out in less than an hour. And man, was I proud of myself, But you got a slant 6. A little tougher to get at one side, really easy to get at the other side, and pull the engine part,
Well, Dented Dreams. So the junkyard, there's a difference between a junkyard and a salvage yard. A salvage yard is generally where they, like a pick and pull, you won't find a slant 6.
How do you find all these parts? You're just keeping your eye out on
Facebook Marketplace,
because she just buys stuff and then she goes, we're going to take the van somewhere. And she goes, oh, I can't because I got a slant 6 in the back of it. It's like, what? Where'd you buy that?
I saw a good price on a slant 6.
So she saw a good price and she went and bought it.
And the guy was pulling it out to put a different motor in not because it was burned out, but because they wanted to hot rod the other car.
But that doesn't mean it's good. There's all those engines.
It wasn't that good.
All those engines are old, but part of it was good. The short block was good. So, you're probably not going to find a It's unlikely you're going to find a really good slant six.
Where you want to find one, though, Dented Dreams, is you want to find one that somebody else pulled out because they put a V8 in it.
Yep.
And you'll know it's real because they'll have pictures of their car and or video of them doing a burnout with their new V8 and their slant six that they pulled out that they didn't know how to tune the carburetor on. It's just sitting there. People pull slant sixes out all the time to hot rod those cars.
You know what I'd do? I'd be watching on Facebook Marketplace.
Well, Facebook Marketplace might work. Ask around at your local automotive shops, the smaller shops, right? There are a lot of places too that will stockpile old engines. See, but they're getting old enough that they don't keep a lot of them around because they don't really fetch a lot of money and they take up a lot of space. They're heavy.
You know, 38 Racing that comes in here. He's in Nebraska. Of course, Nebraska's a big, long state, but, you know, he knows where everything is. And if 38 Racing comes in here, talk to him. Or we'll even talk to him.
The good news, Dented Dreams, is they used the slant sixes from 1960 up until 1987. Now, they stopped putting them in cars in the very early 80s. Maybe 82 or 83 was the last one.
Oh, you know 38 Racing. Oh, yeah. He's got it. He's a good guy, full of information.
Okay, he's keeping an eye out for you, too.
That's what you need. Starts
local guys.
Yeah, like that. How close are you to 38 Racing? Man, that'd be... Because, see, I drive across Nebraska, or I used to, a lot, because I'd be driving back and forth to Oregon from Tennessee, and I just shoot across 80, you know? So I kind of know where a lot of stuff in Nebraska is, but I was always pretty much in a hurry.
Mike N says he recently found a really good deal on a Facebook Marketplace trombone.
A trombone. Sounds like my son and my grandson. They're music people. And we were over there with my grandson helping him fix his car, and it's like you can't remember which way to turn the lug nuts and stuff. You know, we're like kind of helping him, you know, but complete musician, you know. Like he'll pick up an instrument he's never seen and plays it. About 1.5 hours from 38 Racing. Okay, good. I'm like 3 miles off I-80. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I I-80 all the time, or was, you know. I was going across there probably most of my life, a lot, traveling Midwest or East Coast to the West Coast. God, I used to live in South Dakota. You know where Brookings, South Dakota is? It's way in the eastern side of South Dakota, so it's kind of like your weather. Very much like your weather. I have a question for you on a Holly 1945 car. Okay, Kim, here we go. This is for you. Stupid question, I'm sure. Does the fast idle screw stay touching the lower cam when you kick off the fast idle?
If the choke is working properly, that cam should go all the way to a position where the screw is not touching, and then the second screw should be hitting. So no, it should not stay touching the lower cam.
What's a 1945?
A 1945 is like a smog carb.
What, a single barrel?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not even familiar with it. Okay.
So it's either adjusted way too tight or your choke is not opening all the way.
Okay, then yours is working.
Oh, good. Dented Dreams, I had some other information about a slant six that might be useful in your search so that you don't end up picking up the wrong motor. If you get anything earlier than 67, if it's an automatic transmission, you're going to have problems because the crankshaft had a smaller pilot hole. Like the snout of the torque converter goes into the crank, and it was small. So anything earlier than about 68, you're going to have problems with. So you got to be aware of getting the right snout. And then after 76 or 77, they changed the slant a lot. they added hydraulic. I may have this year range wrong, but early 70s, it is steel crank and flat solid lifters. And then early 80s, they went to a cast iron crank, which is completely different size bearings for the rods and mains. So the bottom ends are different. And the valve train is different. The cam is different. They have hydraulic lifters. Yeah. So those are important things to be aware of when selecting an engine. You don't want too early or too late of an engine.
Well, I'm looking to see where Garland, Nebraska is.
I just can't get it to idle once I kick off the fast idle. Time for a rebuild. Holley 1945s are not known as the long... They're not the ones people seek out because they're... So I don't know what state you're in, if they will allow you to put a different model carburetor on.
Yeah, are there vehicle inspections there? The
Yeah,
I need 68 to 80, right? Well, no, we get. I think you go earlier than that.
No.
Really?
Well, if he's got an automatic transmission, the snout of the torque converter won't fit in an earlier one.
Okay.
They did briefly make an aluminum block slant 6, but you would not want one unless you were very specialized, because due to the age, corrosion between the aluminum block and the sleeves causes failures that are like incredibly expensive. Like they're too old.
There's somebody that covered a bunch of a lot about that was Steve Mignante. He's a big YouTuber, and he had a couple of them way back in the day, but as he says, they're all corroded now. They're 1962 vintage, maybe 1963. They might have made them for 2 years, and I knew, man, 1970 when I first worked in a gas station, there was a guy there that he and his father used to race them, but man, that's 1970, and you can imagine what aluminum's like after all those years. It's probably not the thing to have now. Unless you're just really lucky to find one, and then somebody's going to want a fortune for it.
But you could try and clean it out, soak it in some what's the stuff that's in the can that's carburetor cleaner?
The stuff
Not
we
the
use
spray
here?
stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
Berryman's.
Berryman's, yeah.
Yeah. Use a toothbrush and some Berryman's. Maybe get a rebuild kit. But is it worth it to do a 2-barrel with an adapter on the slant 6?
You know what?
Worth it is relative. If you already need a carburetor, if you're already planning on taking the intake manifold off to change out the manifold, with an adapter, the problem is you're going to get too close to the hood, and you might have interference with the hood.
Well, it's all going to go down through one hole.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, they make 2-barrel manifolds for them for many years.
Yeah, the 2-barrel carburetors are better quality carburetors. That's one of the nice things about upgrading to a 2-barrel. But if you don't have the intake manifold, they can be hard to find because they're getting more rare.
I just saw, what was that car? I was laughing at it because they called it something it wasn't. It was a Plymouth. What's the Plymouth?
Valerie?
Yeah, it's a
Plymouth Valerie.
Valari only. They wrote Plymouth Valerie like it's a girl's name.
Robert,
And I just said, well, they had an under the hood shot and it said Super 6 on it on the air cleaner. Well, that's a 2-barrel intake manifold. It's like, wow, look at this. So, and it was just a complete car that was kind of worn out looking. I don't know what they wanted for it, but that engine would be. Where was that? Oh, that was on the East Coast somewhere. But I mean, you'll find one.
Robert, Demon. No, it was a Volare, which was a later
Volare. Yeah, 1980. It was a 1980 Volare.
FJM body, which kind of took the place of the A bodies. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can try to rebuild it, and you might just be able to get the passages out. Like, a new accelerator pump and spray out all the passages, it might kind of work again. The other problem with using an adapter from a 1-barrel to a 2-barrel is the 2-barrel carburetor is positioned so the throttle shaft is at a right angle to the other, so your throttle linkage won't work. And if it's an automatic transmission, your kickdown linkage won't work to your transmission. So getting all those parts can become very tedious. So don't take your car apart until you have the whole collection, or else it will be apart for a long time or you will have to shoot the parts cannon, which gets expensive.
We're here too late for him. He's got to head out.
Oh, Dented Dreams, I wanted to tell you more things, but I understand.
And we'll be here again. And we'll be here Tuesday night.
We know a lot of stuff about Slant 6s.
Tuesday night at 7 Central, which is your time. We're always here Tuesday night at 7, so it's much earlier for you.
The engine that you have could be a wealth of parts towards potentially rebuilding another Slant 6. Like you have a good crankshaft and a good, probably good rods. And, potentially you have a lot of good parts with a couple, maybe you might need a cam and lifters and push rods and a new cylinder head. There's a lot.
We're here way too late. Oh, we're the late show. How many lates? Pretty late.
Pretty late.
Okay, Paul. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Being here, Paul. We appreciate you coming by, even though it is late. And we will not be being this late all the time, but we are just really out of whack with we're the late show. Cleanup crew. We're working on this dart, which you can't see because of the way the camera is positioned.
I can turn the camera for a second.
There's our dart.
There's the dart.
And the Slant 6 is way over by the toolbox.
Slant 6 is over there. You can see it.
And Mike, it can be really fun and rewarding making it all work, but if you've never done it, and if you do not have a reference vehicle, like if you don't have a picture in your mind or a car that is complete with this completely different throttle and linkage setup to reference, it can be incredibly tedious. Dented Dream Garage, come on back another time and let us know how it's going. Ask us more questions.
If you can, Tuesday night 7. Yeah. It's a whole lot earlier than 11. Yeah.
And yeah.
Crash's Roadrunner Garage. Welcome. Hey guys, I'm putting a 75 slant in an 86 D100 and need a 1-barrel carb. Which one should I look for? Oh, Kim's the carburetor slant expert.
I would not look for the Holley 1945. That would be like my last choice. And if you have an existing Holley 1920, I would be skeptical of how much effort I put into rebuilding it. They can be more trouble than there were.
What's the one you put on? Oh, it's not in there now. We took the engine out.
The one that
ran so well
there was a cheap knockoff of a late 60s Ford carburetor, and it works really good.
What's
but
that?
A Chinese.
Is that a Chinese one? What is that thing?
Ermico 55205.
Oh.
I'm stuck with it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know.
What did you pay for the Chinese carburetor on Amazon?
It was about $100. No. It was about $85.
And it worked so well. I mean,
it worked, but it didn't fit under the hood.
Yeah. We had to make an air cleaner for it, but that was not impossible.
But an 86 D100 is an automatic transmission.
Oh, could be one or the other, but it should have lots of hood clearance. D100. What's the D100? The pickup or the van?
Pickup.
The pickup, yeah, there should be plenty of.
The van would be
it's a 1945 rebuild.
It's a 1945 rebuild. The Holley 1920s, people hate them, but the thing is there were revisions, and if you put the wrong gaskets in, you got to really look at the gaskets and make sure you're using the right ones, because yeah, pickup same as my 150. I've had a couple of those 150s.
I remember the D50s. Yeah, the little Mitsubishi trucks.
Yeah, that's a little baby.
Yeah, those are cool. But
So, what carburetor do you have, Crash's Roadrunner Garage? What do you got? And I asked him if he had an automatic transmission. I mean, that might be his answer. So, Crash's Roadrunner Garage. Do you have all the linkages that go with the one barrel car? It's a Carter BBS. Yeah. Yeah.
she likes those.
No. The ones that I have are the BBDs. Those are the two.
Oh, that's
barrel
right.
carburetor.
BBDs. That's right. I'm wrong.
The BBS. I was blanking on that. Yeah, the BBD is the 2-barrel carburetor, and the BBS is the single-barrel Carter carburetor. And
BBD is
a Chinese clone of the Carter BBS is probably going to be the easiest to set up. So, you know, on Amazon, you know. Now, if you search on eBay and you can find a remanufactured new old stock one, it might be worth paying a little bit of extra money, you know. I think I looked up a Holly 1920 remanufacture through like Summit through Holly. And it was like over $300, and it was like, wow, that's a lot of money for a single barrel carburetor. I don't know. All the linkages.
There's where you can run into trouble changing carburetors around.
Robert, it depends on what year and model of vehicle you're talking about. And the answer is I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Mike, for $300 you can get a really nice carburetor, you know, like Holly 4-barrel. But the problem is you can't get a manifold for it. Well, now you're paying $600-700 for a 4-barrel intake manifold. When you're all done, the carburation system will work really great. And that's the thing, is the salvage yard, they're picked clean of the nice parts. Something that old.
You never know. Yeah, what I still say is watch Marketplace. And
Marketplace? They get snatched up quick here.
You might not find something right away, but if you watch it like every day, it's like when something pops up, you go, "Oh, I think I better go look at that."
What you really want to do is make a friend with somebody who has a bunch of cars like that in the yard. Like I recently made a friend with a guy who had a couple of old Dodge Darts, like early Darts, 63, 64 Dodge Darts. And if I was looking for single barrel parts, he's got them. All the linkages, everything are in the car. So, you know, I could get them there. But the salvage yards, like the 2-barrel setups, they're usually all the linkages and carburetor, it's all off of there. And at best, you'll find a bare intake manifold. And it's really tough to make the kit out of that.
The other thing is, once you've dealt with people on Marketplace that have A-body Chryslers or stuff with slants in it, you'll get to know who those people are.
Yeah.
Like there's somebody in Nashville we know that we bought parts from a couple of times, because when you're down there, well, that's noisy.
People know people.
We were down there and we saw what he was parting out a car, and then we needed something else and call him up and yep, he's got it. So we're down there getting it. And then the guy over here that you know now that you got this slant from, that put the 318 in the Barracuda, you know him now, and he's got that stuff around. And then this other guy up on the hill that's got pieces of Chrysler parts around, and pretty soon you get to know all these people, you know, and make a few phone calls. You can find what you need pretty quickly.
Buddy Carafano says, ditch the carb and go fuel injection. You're into $1,000.
Oh, that's a bunch of money, yeah.
And
excuse me.
It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Some people really like that. But yeah, they do sell a single barrel throttle body injection setup. Holly does. But yeah, you're into close to $1,000.
Fascinating.
I just delivered one of the cars I sold today, and now I'm down to 15. Well, we're getting close to each other then. I think we're at 11 or 12. How many cars do we have here? I don't want to
Well,
count
no,
again.
it's like how many run. How many
We've got twice as many running as last year.
We do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're down one, but there's a bunch that are running.
Jack stands and cinder blocks just got here. What did I miss? We were talking about
Carburetors on slant sixes.
Carburetors for slant sixes.
Like original type carburetors for slant
and
sixes.
how to piece together something that's good with stuff that's available and easy to find. And there were so many of them cars out there. You just got to figure out who's got them, because people got them squirreled away in tree rows somewhere. They're still out there. They're not all crushed up. But when you go to the pick and pull, there's usually not too many slant six vehicles around.
What is that thing? A bug assault?
Yes, that's a bug assault. Buddy Carafano sounds like he knows a guy who knows a guy. I'll bet you for sure he knows a guy who knows a guy.
See, here we go.
Who knows a guy.
Man, my throat's bothering me. Currently have Super 6s not running so good. Want to swap so I can keep it on the road. One barrel. See, now there's a Super 6 is the two barrel.
Well, wait. Is it the Super Slant one barrel, or is it the Super 6 two barrel? Because a lot of them say Super on the side, but they're the one barrel carburetors, and they liked saying Super, but there's some confusion there. Have no one barrel. I mean, if you have a two barrel intake manifold, definitely spend a few bucks and just buy a nice two barrel carburetor and get it going with that, because they're better carburetors overall. You figure when they were designing these vehicles, if you wanted the economy, they gave you the one barrel, and then they gave you the cheap one barrel carburetor. It was just, a tin can. It was a controlled vacuum leak, If you were willing to spend the extra money, they sold you the upgraded two barrel intake manifold and a better quality actual carburetor. Fuel injection is Phytech, easy to set up. I have used them in the past and they are pretty decent. Sear Canadian Diesel. The Phytech is probably your lowest cost entry into fuel injection. It comes with a little computer and a throttle body set up, and it's some wires, and it bolts on without very much.
That's a two barrel.
You're still going to have to figure out your linkage for your kickdown for your automatic transmission, because if you do not have a kickdown on your automatic transmission, you'll burn up your clutches. So,
like my Valiant still doesn't have a kickdown. We got to do that. That's probably mostly why I'm not driving it, because there's no kickdown. We're working on other stuff. What's this fast tank says? 2 more are leaving soon, a 92 LX hatch and an 88 T coupe, which is probably just coupe. What's this coupe? Or did you already sell it? And how bad is it? It's another Fox body. I like Fox bodies. See. The Sarah says modify for a Rochester dual jet. It's 2 barrel.
Crash's Roadrunner Garage. If I had a 2 barrel intake manifold and no carburetor, or a carburetor that was giving me a lot of problems, I would search for a Carter BBD tall.
And then what I did, so I bought an adapter and put a 2 barrel, 2100 Autolite on it.
A 2100 Autolite
I
with an adapter runs
love
fantastic on his slant 6.
I just love it, but I was a Ford guy when I was young, so
the linkages don't work.
Yeah, the linkages we had to make. But I'm just so comfortable with that carburetor that I kind of liked it.
I've got some carburetors. I'm going to pull them out.
She's still over there pulling out carburetors.
I got it open. Darn it. I don't know why I'm talking about it with no stinking examples in front of me.
Change the kick down to a vacuum modulator, he says. No turbo coupe Thunderbird. No turbo coupe Thunderbird. T coupe is F. T coupe. What's he talking about? Maybe it's a turbo coupe. I don't know. I'm looking for a Fox body, something. Oh, now we have carburetors on the table.
Figures.
G Coupe is a turbo Thunderbird. Okay, yeah, I'm not interested in that in the least. No, I'm looking for a Fairmont Futura coupe or a Mustang notchback. They didn't ever make the Mercury a notchback, did they? No, they were all those big bubble back things. I don't want to have that.
Move this camera.
Oh, you're taking a
All right, I guess it's Carb Tech night.
Carb Tech night.
Seems to be.
T coupe is a turbo coupe. Fox Mustang is referred to as a notch or a notchback. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I thought it was a typo and it was all Mustangs you were talking about. Yeah, I'd like to have a notchback Mustang. Especially an early one. I like the early dash better. I don't like the one like, I don't know when they swapped the dash over, like 88 or 89 or something. I had an 89 for a while. It had all these buttons up here and it was like, where's my hands? Had all these buttons and stuff up here. I like the early ones that just had that, like an inset dash. Were you laughing at me?
I'm reading comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Capri. I don't think they ever made a Capri notchback, did they?
Okay.
If they did, I'd like that. But...
These are the carburetors that came on
David
Dodges.
James, good evening. Somebody.
Oh, you
just
can't
popped
see
in.
them. I'm sorry. I gotta move the things.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now you're looking. Oh.
These are the carburetors, not this one. These are the 2-barrel carburetors, see, that came on the Super 6 Chryslers for lots of years. Okay? This one is a Carter BBD. They call it the short, and you can distinguish it pretty easily because this is the accelerator pump, and it's on the side here, okay? The tall, the accelerator pump rod goes into the side. I like this design better because it has adjustable metering rods. So you got a little bit of play. Both of these carbs were used on slant 6s and 318s with 2-barrel carburetors. So if you get a 318 model, it's going to be jetted differently. So also, like, there's a hole in this, I don't know if you can see it. There's a hole in the choke plate drilled right there. And I think that's on the 318, but not the slant 6. Gosh, I don't remember all the details. There's differences between the two. But I prefer the tall to the short. But either one of these is going to give you some reliable operation. They're pretty stout designs. And they're easy to get parts for. The biggest shortcoming is that since they are made out of cheap pot metal, the bushings in the base plate here will go bad where the rod goes through. They'll get worn out, and then you'll get a lot of vacuum leak through there, and that'll make it hard to tune your idle. So if you have, like, if you're at a swap meet and you're looking, you want to check and see if this is all wallered out, and you can put brass, rebush them with brass, but you know that's requires like skill.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's not easy. But these are the carburetors that are tried and true for a 2-barrel setup. Enough said on that, I think. Unless you have a question, and then I'll bring them back.
Fascinating. You said Thunderbird and Mark 7 are the red-headed stepchildren of the Fox platform. Were you, trying to think of who you are, were you at No Name Nationals? Do you know Dallas Brown, the HRA guy? And he's got I think it's an 88 Thunderbird, and that thing is fast. Man, is that car fast. And it's light. That's one thing good about those Thunderbirds. They're light.
Okay. Now, I want to show, in regard to the 2-barrel, somebody was talking about, I think it was Robert Owen, that was talking about an adapter plate between the 1-barrel and the 2-barrel. The problem with that, right, is like, the engine would be over here, right? This direction. This is how they mount. This mounts like this. Holley 1920 1-barrel mounts like that. And the Carter BBD mounts like this. You'll notice that the throttle linkage is on this side of the Carter, and it's on this side of the Holley. Okay? What that causes is a complete change in geometry of the throttle linkage and the kickdown linkage. So it's not something you can't overcome, but it makes it so that it's not like a 2-hour swap unless you have all the stuff figured out ahead of time. It requires some engineering. So, 2-barrel versus 1-barrel, right? So in order for the throttle linkages, it would have to be like this, and that's not how the manifold design is. The manifold designs are like that, which is that's the age-old sort of problem. The change in the fuel line intake, I mean, come on. You can bend some fuel line and make either one of these work, but it's a thing. Okay, so that's why an adapter plate is not an easy fix, because even a small adapter plate is going to raise it up an inch, and then bam, you're going to be like really close to your hood. Okay, the Holley 1920, very basic. This one came off of that motor that I just bought.
Oh, so we haven't run that. We don't know anything about that.
I mean, if it has any of the same stuff that was in that motor, then it's probably never going to run again. Where there's a will, there's a way. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean I would recommend that somebody try and do it, though. Like, they're asking, what's an easy way to get a better carburetor? Easy is a tough answer. The easy way? I don't know. This carburetor is a Holley 1920. Somebody put the wrong gasket in it for the accelerator pump, and then when they tightened it down, they over-tightened it, and they bent all the... It doesn't work anymore. It leaks. It doesn't... The cruising circuit leaks because the body inside is bent. It's beyond rebuild potential, right? This one obviously came from someplace rebuilt because it's Holley branded. So somebody rebuilt it. It's been cleaned. I don't know what jet's in it, but it's got new gaskets, and it seems to have good throttle shafts and everything like that. So you can find them, a Holley 1920, and if it's been rebuilt properly and it's jetted properly and they can be really good. They could be a really good carburetor. The people who really complain about them have ones that have been neglected and full of junk and...
Fast Tank says never been to No Name National. He says Dallas's car runs good. I'm not a big FE guy though.
You're not in the screen.
I know. We moved it to carburetors.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm in the screen.
Ask questions if I didn't explain stuff.
So I'm interrupting a little on the carburetors because I'm watching a couple other chats. Dallas' car runs good, but I'm not a big FE fan. The car doesn't have an FE. It has a cleaver, which is like a Windsor. It's a stroked Windsor with Cleveland heads on it. And it's Man, that is a runner. And it's not a very heavy car. It's got just about everything pulled out of it that can be pulled out of it. Got all the good stuff.
David James, welcome to the stream. Just got a 97 V8.
Where's this, David James?
1120.
Got a 97 V8.
V8 what? I didn't.
Because we were
You
talking
guys were
about
talking about
Fords, maybe.
Mercuries.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Not sure.
Turbo Coupe? Fox Mustang?
I don't know which one.
Nice.
Keep the carb and do alcohol mixer. Always wanted to try it myself. Who's the guy that does all the alcohol stuff?
Thumper, the sweaty fat guy?
Bumper?
Thumper,
the sweaty fat guy. Yeah, he's an alcohol fanatic. Makes his own alcohol, does everything alcohol. It's like his whole world runs on ethanol. I don't know. I don't remember that car having an FE, but maybe. So it was on the Chinese carbon match linkage. Yeah, if you buy one of those Chinese carburetors, is there one that bolts up, or does that not happen? Of course, that's a truck and it's newer than ours. So.
No, does Robert Owen have a truck? No, Robert Owen was talking about his 73.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm mixed up now. Who has what? Excuse the cough drops. I got some throat problem tonight that's worse than usual, so I'm cough drops in my mouth trying to get it calmed down.
Robert, I don't have a good solution for you as far as linkage goes. If you buy something that is specific, because the carburetors, a lot of the Chinese variety carburetors.
Oh.
They are like a universal design.
It's an 82 D50 truck.
Generally, the import, we'll call them, carburetors, are a universal design, and you will have to fabricate linkages. You might be able to cut the linkage off of your existing carburetor and like tack weld it on to the bracket on the new. I did that on my Dart.
Where is that carburetor?
And it worked out okay.
That carburetor's off right now.
It is.
You could show where you did that. You don't know where it is.
I don't. But suffice to say, you're going to have to fabricate unless you buy something that is specifically listed as a factory replacement for your vehicle, which is only going to be probably the thing that you took off. So only if you buy another 1945. So that is the downside of buying a universal cheap replacement, is that you're going to have to do fabrication.
Find a way to mount a China like Toyota or Hilux, probably carb to any, then you will be famous. Have you ever seen the vacuum controls? Oh yeah, well, yeah. No, the Chinese carburetor I used was a clone of a Ford 2100, which is like used in all the 1960s two-barrel Ford products. And man, I just had so many of those when I was young. I felt really good about it and bought the adapter and put it on, or somebody gave me an adapter, put it on there, and the holes are about the same size. The only thing the adapter does is makes it so the bolt holes line up. Man, did that work well. it just right off, just started up and ran perfectly. It was amazing. But we had to make linkages, but that's not a real big deal.
Robert says your wealth of knowledge is helping make this decision. Thank you. Robert, I feel badly because I don't have all the answers, and I have enough fabrication experience, and I have looked at enough of these different year and model vehicles. I've owned 2 trucks with slant sixes, a Dart, a Valiant, this Dart, your Valiant, and then other cars that I've worked on. I've owned enough of the cars that I'm familiar with all the different setups a little bit. but I'm not familiar with everything that's available in the aftermarket for replacement parts. So I feel badly that I can't like just say, oh yeah, go here and buy this. But I'm not going to lie to you and say that there's an easy or cheap solution, because it's you get one or the other. You get easy or you get cheap, but you definitely don't get both. Like
Both.
if you get something cheap, it's either in bad condition, and that's why they're giving it away cheap, or it doesn't quite match up and you'll have to fabricate. And I don't know your level of fabrication skill, so I don't want to lead you astray. I have a couple of Japanese carbs that would blow your mind. It looks like a nest of spiders. Oh, geez, yeah. What was it, to the early 80s, and they went all with analog vacuum controls instead of computers, and it was insane. The Hondas were real bad.
Honda, you open up the hood and there's a vacuum diagram as big as a hood. There's like 10,000 vacuum lines. Like, oh my God. So it was a vacuum computer.
Yeah.
And that's just how Hondas were for a long time. And some people were good at making them work right. Fab is not so well.
I mean, you could look up for a Holley remanufactured carburetor like this, a 1920.
I'm going to get up for a second.
And use like a 73 or 74 model Dodge Dart. And it will come with the correct linkages if it says it's the correct one for your car. And if you're not really good with fabrication, you know, you'll pay the extra, but you'll get something that bolts on and runs. And if it doesn't, it'll be warranty. You'll call up Holley and say, this isn't working. What you looking for in there?
I saw an open bottle. I thought it was my gasket cinch, but it wasn't, so I was worried about it. And then I looked down there to see where you had fixed the frame last night and repainted it. And I was just looked down there, and then I see where you've got all the brake lines and the all that back on there, and it looks really good.
That's what I was doing when you came up.
It looks really good, man.
What did I bring over this? I was swearing at right about the time we
you were swearing when I walked into the shop, but that looks good.
Something was oh, this is what I was swearing at when you came in.
That's nasty looking.
This is the worst brake line on the car. I can't get this apart. It's all twisted off, and it's so rusty. And you need this piece. Well, I mean,
this you got a new one.
I bought a new one of these. I'm gonna have to make a new one of these because this is not coming out. You see.
Yeah, I remember you.
It's about toast.
I remember you down there saying
so I just need a piece of brake line and a couple of brake fittings. It's not so bad. But the rest of the brake lines.
Don't drip it on me.
Yeah, the rest of the brake lines are back together. I already replaced this because this hose was. If you look at it, you could see when your hoses get like that, they're not good.
Brake hoses anymore.
They're death
hoses.
What will happen is they won't be leaking, but when you step on the brakes, they'll swell, and then then your brakes will be spongy, and then they'll give out at a sudden.
You got new hoses in the back because we put the rear end in.
Yeah.
Right front, new hose or
it's a replacement hose. You can tell, so it might be a few years old, but it's in good condition.
And then you'll have one on the other side. So
the other side will be new wheel cylinder, new brake hose, and a new brake line at this point. I guess we don't have any spare brake line lying around. I only buy it when I need it. Oh, I might have a piece. I might have a piece of brake line in the van.
Your van's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah. There might be a piece up there. Easy is hiring someone to do it for you. Oh, gosh. That's expensive, though. Easy is expensive. I know my rate is insane. Cheap, well, if you have time and lots of spare... See, we have lots of spare parts, and... I say we got nothing but time, but basically the only thing we have is time. We got more time than money. These projects that we're working on, if we had to start paying somebody to do the work, that'd be the end of it.
That'd be the end of it. The only reason we do this is because we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I fabricated airplane parts, ground up, new design airplane. Did a lot of that all my life. And, so I became a pretty good fabricator. And now I'm back on the cars, which I did earlier in my life before I was doing the airplanes. And it's kind of nice, we're here just if we need a part, we make it. And, or we find a used piece, It's,
Yeah, or we
and
find a
that, and we kind of
universal
enjoy that.
replacement
And we
part
enjoy
and
that.
we adapt it to
We,
make it work for our application.
we enjoy
This
that.
this car, like, it has a Nova radiator in it because that's what's cheap and available, and it has,
What is that, like a 66 or 7 Nova? Yeah, it's a big old
I don't know,
downflow radiator. In
good
'68 they
size one.
switched to crossflow, so it must be. I like that radiator. That's a pretty nice radiator.
It might not even be easy to find someone to hire to do it for you because,
Oh, and then who do you trust?
yeah, young guys are just parts swappers. If they've never seen a Slant 6 or worked on an old car like that, there's no there's no promise that they'll be able to put it together and make it work properly. They'll set your,
There are a few young guys that I know that are good at that stuff, but
yeah, they're on the
not
ball.
many. And then people that have shops that are there's a shop rate. They got to pay for their shop, so it gets expensive. Always keep spare parts.
Oh, we got lots of we got
Oh,
parts, we got parts cars, we got parts engines, we got parts, I mean, bins and bins and bins of parts. If you ever watch Mortski Repairs, he's just like pallets. He's just wrapping pallets of parts and putting them in the warehouse. Because, like, if you want to fix these old cars, if you have to buy everything, it will nickel and dime you to death. Rock Auto has both carbs in stock. There you go. What? Just out of curiosity, Rich, what cost are they saying, and what model carbs are you talking about?
find
Because,
yourself an old millwright
yeah,
like
Rock
me.
Auto might give you a good, you might get a good, and the thing of it is, if you buy it from Rock Auto and you put it on and you just can't get it to a run, or if you start trying to put it together and the linkage just won't connect because it's not really right, I think Rock Auto takes returns. And you could tell them the linkages are incorrect for my application, and then they'll take it back.
You're an old millwright. Yeah,
No, he
yeah.
says, if no, you find yourself an old millwright. Oh, like me with all kinds of crap lying around. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta trade your labor for the knowledge and expertise of someone with more experience. Help them help you. Make a friend. It's pretty.
Rock Auto is awesome. Now warranty is easy, and they have OEM clearance parts cheap.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
their
I
line of replacement parts is not all encompassing. They don't always
there's
have
something I was
everything.
just looking for. It's like, you know what I was looking for? Parts on the on that what's that blue car? The Triumph Spitfire.
Yeah.
Really, really sparse. It's like
Yeah.
whoa.
Crash's Roadrunner Garage, gotta go. We'll finish watching later. All right, Crash, come back another time and we'll try and answer more questions for you, or help you work through, depending on which one, $100 core.
Oh,
Well,
so
they've
it's a
got core parts,
so
so
it's a exchange. Hmm. Yep. I thought that was a new carburetor, but it's somebody rebuilt that.
this,
Yeah, that came off that
I'm
one that
sure it's a
on the
remanufactured
came from the
carburetor.
Barracuda.
It did that, but they paid the
They
price.
yeah.
They paid the price for this carburetor because it's nice. Heck, it might be new.
I don't know. It sort of has that bead blasted look. Flip it over. I want to see the bottom of it. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, that bead blasted look is on the. So
I
yeah, I
don't
don't know.
know. It looks really
There's a
good.
piece of gasket stuck to it. Let's see here. Every year I work with a youth group building go-karts. It's kind of fun. They come to my place, dig through piles, and learn how to build. Yeah, that would be really fun. Go-karts.
I'm glad there's somebody teaching the children right.
261 for the one barrel, 169 for the two barrel. Wow. I think it would be the other way.
that might be a place to get a 2-barrel. I don't know if I'd spend $261 for a 1-barrel carburetor.
I know we bought cars cheaper than that.
Oh, that hurts. But yeah, that's probably what it's worth. Like the economy of, we don't make any money. So we have to do everything on the uber cheap. I got all these old parts I got to sort through. But then again, how much trouble this carburetor gave us. We could not get this.
Is that the one that was off my car?
We tried to put it on your car. We could not get it to run.
That's the one that just is trouble.
I rebuilt it and put it back on the car, and it still wouldn't run. And then I put it on another vehicle, and it wouldn't run on that either.
Oh yeah.
Rich, Rock Auto is pretty good.
Rock Auto's real easy to navigate.
It's a good place to search.
The car I was looking for, they had a lot of just stuff not available. And it was
but they're not always the cheapest.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're not always available.
It's a 1971 Triumph Spitfire. You know, what do you expect? It's a little harder to find parts.
If you're trying to get certain parts for the Spitfire, there's
places that do that.
There's a couple of places that are, yeah.
Well, when this Dart is the point where it's running, which ought to be actually, it's going back together now.
More weeks,
yeah, it's going back together now. It'll be a driver again.
I have surgery on Monday, so that's going to slow us down. We're not going to be able to work on Sunday because we have to take it really light on Sunday so we can get up kind of early and get down to we have to go to the other side of Nashville to go to the surgery center. And then I'll be down for a day because they got to put me to sleep. And the procedure should not knock me out too hard. I'm hoping we could still do our regular Tuesday stream. I'm really hopeful. I can't promise. Can't guarantee. If I can't do it, I can still turn him on and he can stream for a little while.
Turn me on.
So, make statues out of old car parts and sell them. They make good money. Creative side hustle. Yeah. Almost.
Yeah, where's that piece? We welded it into a statue and it's gone. I'm like, no. I'd be sick.
We do it for the love. We love these vehicles and we enjoy working on them. We like the tinkering. We enjoy the challenge, but some days it's like...
What I was going to say is this car will be done in a couple of weeks. It'll be driver. It'll be a daily driver again. And then that Triumph Spitfire will come in here and we'll get it running, make sure it runs. And then the body's a rusty mess. That body will come off and we're going to make an aluminum body, kind of like I used to build aluminum airplanes and aluminum wings and things from scratch. And I want to do an aluminum car, so we'll do that next. What is this? I thought I already changed that.
It does look like we're out in the shop. Hold on, I can make it even look more. I can make it look like we're really in the shop. Hold on a second. Watch this. I'll go over here.
Yeah, the mess. What is this? What are you doing?
Look, we're actually in the shop. See, I can touch things on the shelf.
What is that?
It's real. We're really here.
What is that? It's some piece of something we don't need. There's an old radiator tank, or actually new old stock radiator tanks up there you almost grabbed.
Yeah, see, we're in the shop. It's real. It's not green screen at all. You didn't understand the gag, did you?
Yeah, I get it now. I only
love my cats,
my daughter. Everything else I do is because I don't know what else to do. Jim Grady. I have a 2005 Chevy Silverado statue in my yard. Put it up on cinder blocks, and I'm reading, and you read it. You got me all flustered now.
Okay, I have a
Jim Grady came in. He's new here all day.
Oh, welcome to the stream,
and
Jim.
You're poking me with a fuel line.
I wanted to show you that I don't think there's ever been fuel in that.
Okay, so...
Okay, Jim says, I have a 2005 Chevy Silverado statue in my yard. Put it up on cinder blocks and everything. County still sent me a letter saying I had to take it down. What? What?
Where do you live?
That's art.
Where do you live? I know, somebody complained.
Somebody would complain. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that.
Well, and that's why I want all our stuff. See, we live on... There's a street up here, and it kind of goes downhill into the yard. And I want all the collection of cars down the hill. So when you drive down the street, you just see
Don't look like a junkyard.
nicely manicured lawn, you know. But now there's some places are starting to look at properties with a drone so they can go poke at people like you got an extra car there that you don't drive. I've heard of stuff like that.
It's happening. Can happen. I'm glad you have a good sense of humor about it, Jim. There's some people who go to war over stuff like that.
Yeah, where the heck is that? Not that I just gotta know never to move there. Oh yeah, it's an animal habitat.
Oh, that's a good, yeah. A bat habitat or some endangered species. Get some poop from some endangered species and tell them they use that as a breeding ground or a feeding, and yeah, they can't take it away. But then you'll be stuck with it for forever. So,
what's this Tim saying? AI can do incredible things, or is there just an A there and you say I can do incredible things?
I think he was joking about the potentially fake backdrop. No, we're actually in the shop tonight, guys. There's no green screen today. That's why we can't put up your pictures, or else we would. Groundhog habitat.
What's it smell? It's a shop smell. No,
Okay.
it's not from you. It's from it's like something light chemical grinding. I don't know.
It's probably the Dodge Dart that we have ripped into 1,000
We did
pieces.
like 5 hours here last night on a live, and Kim was working, grinding and cutting and welding. We got back down to the house. I'm standing there going, in my, I've worked in fab shops a lot, but inside of my nose just smells like ground up steel. It's like,
Bad.
oh man, I haven't smelled that in a while since I was in the airplane shop.
I was doing
every
a
day.
lot of grinding, yeah.
Stiffs armpits and presses.
See, there's nothing to do with presses.
You never know what Kim's
I was
gonna
go look for a piece of brake line. We have to have a piece of. It's only like a.
We have so much other junk. Why wouldn't we have a new piece of brake line around?
That's the problem with if you have so much junk that you don't even know what you have.
We have these totes and totes and totes, and sometimes I'll say to Kim, "You know that thing? I got a thing that looks like this," and I'll explain it. She goes, "Yeah, I saw that. Where is it?" She goes, "It's in one of those totes." It's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm not in a hurry, but if you run across it, pull it out. The tote. Set it aside somewhere.
Where did we have brake? Where have you seen any brake line?
I don't know. What about the white cabinet full of Mopar parts?
I wouldn't put brake line in there because it's long.
Tim, your dog alarm clock is going off already? Oh, good luck on Monday. Yeah, thanks. She's. I'll be driving her down there, so.
I'll be alright.
She says she'll be alright.
Or I'll die.
She's had surgeries on her neck before. Oh man. Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it, but it's just how it is. It is what it is. Maybe I'll get some relief and I can get some work done again.
Yeah, maybe she says she'll get some relief from the pain. Because she is in pain a lot of times. She's over there pulling pieces and parts out of a...
I'm looking for where would I stick a piece of brake line in the long bin,
Yeah.
I'm going over to the van. Can you entertain?
Yeah, here, take your radio with you.
Okay. Well, in case I fall down?
In case something happens, you need some help. You're out there in the dark, Okay. Make sure it's on.
On? Listen to you.
Is your radio on? It's on.
Is my radio on? Yeah, it's over here.
Because you're walking a ways in the dark, and there's all kinds of traps out there.
There's mosquito. The good news is the cold that kills the mosquitoes.
Okay, Tim. See you Tuesday. Sounds good.
And I can get a soda. Bye, Tim. Thanks for being here. We'll be here Tuesday. We might make it short if I'm not feeling well, but I think I'll be all right.
Sarah says my Snap-on rep found out I'm retired, and I'm taking all the tools out of my service truck. He's trying to sell me a tool chest.
That's a good salesman there. He's on top of it. Alright, I'm going to get brake line. I'm going to see if I can find some. Back in a minute.
Yeah, I've only had one Snap-on rep that was, I don't know, I barely knew the guy, and he said he wouldn't even come around the shop unless I bought another toolbox. I had two Snap-on toolboxes there full of tools. I'd moved, and I need Snap-on dealer to come by once in a while. I said, just come by once a month if you want. Or he goes, I'm not coming by unless you buy another toolbox. That's the only problem I ever had with a Snap-on dealer was that guy. It's the last time I saw him. But the Snap-on dealer I had in California was nothing short of great. In fact, he comes in here sometimes. And then there's a woman Snap-on dealer in Sharon, Pennsylvania. She knew her stuff real well, and she'd look at the tools and go, does that ratchet need to be rebuilt? And she'd like service the ratchets and everything. And if you had a question, she knew everything about the tools. That was great. She'd show up once a week. Good dealer. And then the one in Maryland didn't come around very often because I was working in a shop. We're doing a lot of engineering work, but I was hands-on kind of engineer in the shop, and I really liked tools. But there was an airport across the street and up like short block up the street, and we were basically right at the airport. So I would he was up there at lunchtime on, I don't remember what day, Tuesday or something. I'd drive up there, and that guy was really good too. Hey Olive, how you doing? People are trying to tell me I'm abusing my Snap-on tools as I'm always breaking them, yet I don't. I didn't break many Snap-on tools. I always tell the story. I had a big screwdriver, huge Snap-on screwdriver, and I broke the tip off of it because I was prying on a rusty bolt on a bumper on a '57 Ford, trying to get the bolt out. And I busted that little hardened tip they have on them. Well, it was big. That thing was probably 3/4 of an inch across. It's a big ass screwdriver. So I walked on the Snap-on truck. This is a guy in California, and he looked at it. And he just looks at me and goes, "What'd you do with that?" So I said, "There's a big screw, and it was on the floor of a truck, and I was like this. I was turning as hard as I could, and it popped off." And he just shakes his head. He knew I'd been prying with it, and he goes, "Give it to me," and he put a new blade on it. And but with the amount of stuff I bought, geez, so he warrantied something once in a while. It's not my fault. I'm a gorilla. They are wimps. Once I retired, I didn't buy many Snap-on tools. I'll once in a while I'll buy something on eBay or in garage sales. There'll be a tray full of tools. How much? And you're like, oh, $5 or something. And I'll see a couple of Snap-on wrenches in there. I'll grab it and clean them all up, oil them a little bit, put them in my toolbox. And those are the ones I throw in the car to carry around with me if I'm going somewhere. Priming a Chevy 350 oil pump. Need a 2-foot.
The surefire way to find a piece of brake line?
I don't know.
Buy a piece of brake line.
Oh, you're like me. Yeah, that's how you find the new piece of brake line that's in the shop you can't find. Go to the store, buy a new piece, come back, and you'll find it. 1 minute, you'll find it.
You'll find it immediately.
Then you'll have 2 of them. But you'll still have a spare for next time.
I mean, that is just the way of this thing.
That's what I always say. Just go buy another one. I like my Princess Aut. A-U-T. Yeah, I guess Princess Auto, yeah. And Canadian Tire tools these days. I don't know much about Canadian Tire. Is that a discount place or is that a good place? Or I don't know much about them. And I know Princess is just basically like a clone of Harbor Freight from what I see. I mean, I look at Princess tools and sometimes they're painted a different color, but other than that, they're identical.
Yeah, same.
So I assume it's the same manufacturer, same kind of stuff. The Harbor Freight stuff originally was, it was like Chinese stuff from 20, 30 years ago, But now they have three different level, 3 different prices, 3 different qualities. I buy a lot of stuff there, or did. The Harbor Freight here moved away, and they said they were going to open up another store in another location. They never did, so I don't know what happened. That was a year ago. You think Canadian Tire's like Discount Tire? I dealt with Discount Tire a lot because I was traveling a lot in a late model car, and occasionally I needed a tire adjusted. It didn't matter where I went. Wherever I was, there was a Discount Tire that wasn't too far away. I'd go in there and they'd take care of it. Never had a problem with them. So they're not a sponsor, but I mean, it's hard to beat that kind of service. And they were always pleasant. And man, I had a tire. It was a Michelin. What do you got? Pilot Sport Radio, and it exploded. Those were my favorite tires. And out of all those Michelin Pilot Sports I had, one of them exploded. So I took it out. I took it to a Discount Tire, and there's no parking right up front. So I parked out in the parking lot, and I picked the tire up out of the trunk of the car, and I'm trying to. It's all a mess, So I can't really roll it. And some woman that works there comes out quickly. She's got her Discount Tire uniform on. She grabs this tire, holds it up like to her chest, and just into the shop faster than I could walk. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I could have taken that in there. So I get in there, and what happened? And I remember it had 40,000 miles on it. And I had bought the what do they call it? The certificates. When I used to buy the tires there and the new ones, I always bought the certificates. So I had certificates for it. 40,000 miles. They didn't have one in stock. So he goes, "We'll just stick a used tire on it, and it'll take 3 days to get it." I said, "Okay, fine." He couldn't find a used tire. So he goes, "We'll put a new tire on it. It's just a different brand, and you can come back in 3 days." And they put I don't remember what it was. They put some other brand new tire on my car. 3 days later, I came back, and they put a new Michelin Pilot Sport on there. So I'm thinking, man, that was a heck of a good service there. They put a new tire on my car that's now a used tire because I used it, and they gave me a brand new tire, no charge for anything, and it had 40,000 miles on it. So, well, I guess it's worth buying the certificates when you're on the road a lot. I wouldn't do it now because I'm not on the road much at all.
Mr. Del Campo.
I'm a local driver mostly now. Just a second. Oh, Kim, what's up? I'm going to try to catch up with the chat because I'm babbling too much.
Before you do that,
Yeah?
can you do me a favor and see if you can fire up the Elgato cam?
Oh, sure. You got that Elgato.
It's already on. You probably have to go to Elgato and then go and deactivate it and reactivate it. You remember how to do that?
Oh, I'm trying.
A couple times.
Well, let's make it some kind of funny looking thing.
Okay, here I'll. Yeah.
I've never seen that where you go to properties.
Here, that might not be you. That might be me. Let me see.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Well, I'll go back to this for a second. Okay, let's see here.
No. Go back to the other one where you can see both. There you go.
Okay. Oh yeah. Now I see a set of brakes sitting there, and then some other stuff. Okay, let's see here. The icon tools are pretty decent for the price. The other stuff is hit and miss. I have some cheap Harbor Freight stuff. The little gear wrenches, the ones that are ratchet on one end, open end on the other. Man, I've had those things for years. And I abuse them. And I've never broken one. Canadian de-snow. Canadian Tire is like old Sears. Oh, that'd be cool.
That makes sense.
Canadian Time is a cross between Harbor Freight, Walmart, and AutoZone all in one store. Okay. Princess Out. Princess Out is a fabricator's dream store. It has every tool part thing you would need to build a car or bulldozer. Yeah, and what I've seen there, it looks a lot like Harbor Freight here. Something about spelling Princess Auto and Canadian Tire. So I guess Kim's putting the whole front end back together after
no, I got to take the brakes apart.
After the frame repair. What is the torsion bar back up in there, or what's?
No, didn't do the torsion.
Okay, so you still have to put the lower control. Oh yeah, no lower control arm. Here's my favorite ratchet. I bought that ratchet because I really liked it, and then I think I only used it once. But Kim likes it. She uses it. Use it. That's good. I'm so happy to see somebody using it. If you go to the Torque Test channel here on YouTube, they go over all types of tools. Pittsburgh wrenches constantly are the worst fitment and slip the easiest. Really? I've watched that channel a couple of times. Jack stand and no wood blocks. What are you saying? You're so modern, or am I just so old school? What? I'm sorry, Kim. I wasn't looking. I was reading.
Did you see cut the hose off and use the socket to take it out?
Oh yeah, okay. That's what we used to do when I was in Ohio working at the. I'd run out of work, and then I need to work somewhere, so I'd go work at a couple of buy here, pay here used car lots. Would let me work there and do some work for some days until I had airplane work again. So. In Ohio, we had rusty brake lines. That's the thing you do in buy here, pay here, used car lots. Rusty brake lines, rusty fuel lines, and body work. That's where there's rust along the bottom of doors and things. So the brake lines, we just take a pair of bolt cutters and cut. I'd struggle with him. One of the guys that was working there goes, "What are you doing?" Because I'm from the West, He just takes a pair of bolt cutters, cuts the brake line off, sticks a socket over, and out it comes. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Brake line's no good anyway. Just cut it off. Use a 6-point socket. Jack stand. Yeah. What's wrong with jack stands? We got so many jack stands. Kim moved here, and I had jack stands. She has jack stands.
Yeah.
So why not just use them?
Yeah, they're the big jack stands too, not the little ones.
And they're all the way down, I think. Oh, no, they're up a little bit.
No, they're down.
They're down, yeah. And they're much safer when they're down. I bought those big ones for my Corvette, and that's what that big jack, you can see that orange jack there, because I could get the Corvette up 41 inches and get those jack stands up there and get them just up there. I could get 41 inches under the Corvette, and I could sit under there and work under it. And that was actually pretty nice, because I was in Arizona, and I had a garage with like a newer house. Well, it was a brand new house when I moved in, but it was a rental. We had 3 guys living in there, a 3-bedroom house that were all working out at the test site. But I'd just go in there and jack my car up, put 4 axle stands under it, and sit underneath it and work on it. Did the half shafts on it. It was kind of nice having it up that high. And then when Kim moved here, she brought us like sets of them too.
I got little ones and big ones.
She got little ones and big ones. I got little ones and big ones. Yeah, everywhere I went, I think I bought some jack stands. Man, there was some guy in the parking lot. I lived in an apartment in Maryland. Had little baby apartments. But the company was providing them, which is pretty nice. So when I was there, I wasn't in a hotel. I was in one of these little apartments. But they had this huge lot, nothing out there. And it was packed hard dirt. And there was a guy out there with like a square body. Only it was an SUV, square body SUV. What do you call that? Kim, what do you call those? Suburban.
Yeah.
He's out there with a Suburban. He's got the right front apart. and he's got the uh, I don't remember what was all apart on it, lower ball joint or something, and all he's got under it is like a, the bumper jack, and he's got the tires underneath, so if it comes down, it'll hit the tire. And I go, man, what are you doing? I went over there, big piece of plywood and my jack stands and put them under there. I said, here, might just well put some jack stands under this thing. I was worried about the guy. I have a bunch of the 12 and 16 ton jack stand, the bigger, the safer, and some old rims welded into stands, but I still choose my old greasy diesel soaked wood blocks. I've seen
soaked wood blocks. I'd probably be using those too.
She'd be using them too, yeah. And here's Tavo. Tavo's a couple of big eyes staring at me. How you doing? Yeah, I was like almost having a conversation with you in the comments today. See, Tavo had a set of those little tiny Torx bits.
Yeah.
Little Torx drivers, whatever they are. And so he said he used them on something. He couldn't remember what. And then he thought it was a laptop. And I'm thinking, yeah, I think that's what Kim used them on. When you put my hard drive in my laptop, I think that's when you used them.
Can they see all this goop in this?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not watching you. You're out of focus. You got to back off a little bit.
Maybe I'll bring it over here.
Okay.
See how wet it is inside there? These shouldn't have a bunch of fluid in them.
Oh, it's on the wrong side of the cup.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Well, I've got the cup inverted, but see, it's leaking. I don't know. Maybe it's just dirty, but I have a feeling it's all pitted. I'm gonna take it apart live.
I just use this
stream.
Fast thing says I just use the 6-ton stands if I'm not using a lift. Oh man, I wish I could have a lift. I had a shop with a lift, a rented shop with one of those old pneumatic hydraulic lifts that has one post in the middle. Was that ever nice? But that was a rented shop in Ohio. Well, I moved away, so this shop has the ceiling's only about 7.5 feet. I couldn't put a lift in here. Might be able to put one of those ones like Dee Dee's Speed Shop has that lifts the car up.
Yeah.
That you could sit under it maybe, but man, that's when you're old, it's nice to stand under a car, but we're not going to have that luxury. We're just, we've got a shop. I feel pretty good. At least we have a shop. Salome Dada. It says Torx. Yeah, I did a short about some little tiny Torx, number 1 through number 7 Torx, which I don't even know why I bought them, but I had them, and Kim used them, and I did a short about them. A lot of times I'd see a tool I want, I don't even know why I want it, I just like it and I'd buy it. And there were other times I needed a tool, so I buy it. A lot of times when I needed a tool, it's because I was working and I got sent somewhere. Like when I got sent to Maryland from Arizona, I didn't have many tools with me, and then I find myself needing to work on something. And there was a AutoZone kind of within walking distance, close enough that I walked, and I go down there and I bought another ratchet, and I bought a couple of sockets, and then I went back down there and bought something else, and now I've got those in my toolbox here. Every time I pick up that ratchet that came from AutoZone, I kind of laugh. I go, well, got an extra ratchet. Kim uses it sometimes. Let's see. My shop is 16 feet, and when I built my house, I made the 3-car garage 12 feet just in case. Man, that's the way to do it. Tavo says, rebuilding wheel cylinders. Good to see. Down here, everyone just buys the $15 Chinesium ones. I think that's what Kim has.
I mean, that's what this was in the first place, was a $15 Chinesium one.
See, I used to rebuild a lot of wheel cylinders, but I don't know. I can't even find the parts anymore. Why is my wheels? I got a chair with wheels, and it won't wheel. The little tiny wheel chalk under it. A piece of gravel. So, yeah, where I worked, we had all these bulk, like big, trying to get my hands here, We had these big cardboard boxes just full of cups and all the pieces and parts. So you just go along, get the cups you needed and out of the boxes, and then run a ball hone through the wheel cylinder, and then there were go no go gauges, and you'd stick the go no go gauge in. If the go no go gauge slid inside, it was too big, and you had to buy a new cylinder. But a lot of time, most of the time, the go no go gauge would not fit in, and then you could put new cups in it and rebuild it. Man, I did a lot of those, but that was, oh God, that was a long time ago. Let's see here. I don't have a lift, but I have a forklift. Man, that'd be a nice tool to have. Does that count? Sometimes I use the boom on the excavator. Man, an excavator.
We got a little mini
The only
digger.
the only thing we have that's a piece of equipment like that is a skid steer with a
And we use that loosely because it's pretty rough.
it's a skid steer with a bucket on the front of it. Or what is that thing called? Is that a bucket? No, the bucket's like a scoop.
A loader always has a bucket.
Okay, so it's a skid loader, but doesn't have any other attachments. But we use that thing a lot. And somebody put a bigger engine on it. Had a 16 horsepower diesel or something, and now it has a 24 horsepower 2-cylinder Honda. It was that way when we got it. So it had some other problems. We did videos about it.
It leaks a lot.
Kim fixed it.
The videos about the skid steer are probably on my channel.
Yeah,
Kim fixes things.
The skid steer videos are on Kim's channel, which is Kim Fixes Things.
All right, I don't know if you even want to look at this.
I don't have a lift. I don't have the shed height. Yeah, same here. Our shed, we just smash a car into the roof. What's that?
Go to the big screen for a minute.
Go to the big screen.
For you. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what we have here.
I'm sorry, it's really dirty.
Yeah, you hand me this dirty thing. Yeah, see the inside of it's got corrosion in it.
Yeah, and it might be able to be cleaned up and rebuilt, but I just think I'm just going to use the part. I bought the part.
Yeah, just use
Well, I figured that I wouldn't be able to get the bleeder out of it, but the bleeder is fine. That's somebody did replace that when they did the refurbishment on this, because somebody had been over this. I'm guessing maybe 10 years ago or something. Seems like. Before it sat in the parking lot for a bunch of years, I'm guessing.
How your workshop must be like mine. The roof leaks. The floor is always dirty because it's the great outdoors.
Do you have the scissors? No, I hid them from you.
Why'd you take my scissors?
I don't know where I put them. I'm trying to find them.
They were right here.
I had to move things because overheating computer. That's all right. I found a set.
Are they blue ones?
They are blue ones.
That's the ones.
Oh, I must have put them in. Shit. Who the hell brought all these
carburetors all over the floor? These are not the ones. There's a big pair of blue ones that was sitting here every night. Now they're missing.
They're here somewhere.
Okay, Dorman. Oh, Dorman strikes again.
The Dorman?
Okay, let's see. So I have a 50 by 20 shed, but low roof, 8 feet at the peak. Yeah, mine's flat. It's 7.5 feet or 7 feet 7, something like that.
Okay, that looks like a good replacement for our hose. That's good.
Everybody see that? New flex line for the front brake.
Look at its newness and all its nooniness.
Tavo, you have a roof, not fair.
Yeah.
And Tavo's down there where I don't know if it doesn't
bragging
rain.
About having a roof.
He's kind of in the desert. He's in South Australia. Man, Tavo, I wish you wasn't so far away. Man, I'd like to go down there.
And Arabes.
But it is so far from here. It's like on this planet, I don't think it could be much further from here to your place.
Look at that.
Oh, man.
I got the correct one.
Oh, look at this. Is that a Chinesian one?
It's from Ray Bestos.
It's from Ray
sure
Bestos.
It came from China.
Okay, so we can let me see.
It doesn't say China on it anywhere. I'm sure it is.
It has these weird characters.
Do they make anything in the United States?
They make anything in the United States. So this is what we have here. She just checked it out. Everything's in the right place, facing the right direction.
Made in China.
Made in China. Yeah, that's right.
So
Not quite desert farmland. Okay. Well, it looks sort of desertish to me, but
Wait, doesn't
yeah,
come.
it's not like lush green Tennessee. It looks
You know what it doesn't
more
come
like
with?
Arizona, but maybe more like West Texas.
You know what it doesn't come with?
What? The bolts.
Bolts.
They cheated you out of the new bolts.
That seems sort of.
So did the other bolts break when they came out, or
No, I'll be able to use them. I'm just
Okay.
surprised that it didn't give me them.
Okay, now that you have a roof, reason I Paul says the reason I rebuilt, my wheel cylinders is both my Valiant shoes 3/4 on the rear. Only ones available for replacement are 13/16, so that makes a difference in the rear wheel lockup. I bet it would. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. You told me where you live, so I got on Google Maps and or Google.
He's a stalker like that. He'll
Google, and I looked around the area to see what it looked like, and it looks like it's sparsely populated, and yeah, I guess you could say it's farmland, and there's nice roads going in and out of that area, and pretty interesting. I just like to see where things are, and
Yeah, no, he's just.
I'm not gonna stalk the guy. Like I said, he's
yeah,
halfway around the world, you know.
But in a nice.
It's just like it's kind of interesting to see what that area of the world looks like. Like somebody says they're from Nebraska. Man, I've driven across Nebraska so many times, lost count, you know, so I kind of know what that looks like. You know, it's like Midwest farms on both sides of the road. And I know what that looks like. Until you get into western Nebraska, it starts heading uphill, going into Wyoming, and then it's going into the mountains. I don't know. I just like looking at where things are. I'm mixing up my water with some kind of super C orange flavoring. I think it's supposed to have vitamin C in it. I don't know. Some kind of thing. Love customers that ask used engine, core rebuilt engine. I say rebuilt, warranty, new parts, and peace of mind. Used engine, you end up having to get new parts and no warranty. There's a 50-50. Well, it didn't mix up completely. Just went to the bottom. Dark orange at the bottom. Light orange in the rest of it. Ooh, now it's dripping. Well, let's see. Not bad highways apart from the heavily enforced speed limits. Really, out where you are, there's police out there looking for somebody speeding? It looks like it's so sparsely populated out there. I can't even imagine a police officer being out there. Do they have a court nearby, or to go pay your tickets, or do you have to drive a ways for that? How come you're speeding? Well, I'm going to court. It's a long ways away, and I'm gonna be late.
Yeah. How come you stole the ambulance? Well, I had to go to court.
Oh man, who was that?
Mm-hmm.
I just saw that. I just saw that somebody. He had to go to court because he'd stolen a car, so he's going in on a theft charge with a car, and he's late to court. So he stole an ambulance that was sitting there running at the scene of somewhere where they needed an ambulance, and he jumped in and drove it to court. Got a second stolen vehicle arrest before he got the first one settled. That was just recently.
Outrageous.
Dean Stevenson's here. Tavo and
Dean.
SAER Kimborghini and Buff. Kimborghini's.
Oh, you can turn my camera on again.
Messing around under there. We're gonna turn on.
I don't have brake lines, so I'm working on other parts.
Kim is under there. We got the split screen. She's under there putting a wheel cylinder on, I think.
Yeah, it was leaking. We had to get it before it causes a problem. It wasn't leaking so bad that it was contaminating the brakes yet, but it was going to.
Taos, as always, speeding fines are a great revenue raiser.
Oh,
5 miles per hour over costs about $300. Yeah, they quit doing that here. People go 30 miles an hour over. I don't think cops even care. And then they come up behind you and tailgate by like 2 feet.
They just raised taxes to the roof. Why bother stopping anybody for speeding?
Yeah, let's see. 10 over, 500 plus. You get the ticket sent online, and you can pay it online. You know, in California, I got a speeding ticket, or not a speeding ticket, a parking ticket. And I'm not in the camera right here. I got a parking ticket. Oh, what's wrong here? Nope, wrong way. I got a parking ticket in California, and you can pay it online. They tell you that, so I'm back here and I'm paying it online, and they itemize it. So much for parking and so much for there's some itemization, and then they add to it another like $20 for paying online. It's like, what? You know, I would have paid it while I was there if I'd known that. And Sarah says it's bedtime. You have an awesome stream, and everyone else have a great weekend. Oh yeah, it's a weekend, isn't it?
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Canadian friends.
We're not gonna work too late tonight.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like 5 o'clock in the morning like yesterday. That's crazy. I think, you know, we got home and it was starting to get light.
Yeah, you didn't go. You were up for a long time still after that. Huh?
Yeah, I had to get my short up and had to get, I don't know. I was pretty wound up.
Yeah.
Thought it was pretty good. You had real jack stands. You know, I've worked with all kinds of wood and stacked up tires and everything. And real jack stands on concrete's pretty nice, you know.
Did you have the El Gato up? Did it work?
Yeah, we're watching you. We're watching you fight with that spring.
Oh shoot, we're watching. Now there's pressure.
Now there's pressure. I'm looking to see what you got there. You got that little wing ding thing underneath the spring?
There ain't one.
What?
There is not a wing ding.
Somebody left it off?
Well, there wasn't one.
Yeah, but we're...
The spring's cold.
Yeah, but you know the little flat, like a T-shaped washer that goes under there?
This ain't no Ford.
Well, the Jeep had them.
Well, this ain't no Jeep. It's a Mopar. It's a Lexus.
What, Mopars don't have those?
I don't know. I don't see it.
Most common form of speeding tickets here are from cameras in the back of a van parked at the roadside. What are the speed limits on those roads, like between the small towns out there? What are the speed limits on those roads? I look at them, I'm thinking that it should be like, I don't know, it's probably in kilometers. Kilometers, it probably ought to be at least 100 or 110 or something, but I bet it isn't.
Now I need that hose. Is it over there?
A hose?
A hose.
Yeah, you got a hose here.
Come on, hoser.
With new little, what do you call them? Gaskets, washers, whatever, brass or copper, whatever they are. Copper. Did you get ahead of yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
In what way?
Putting those springs on.
No?
Okay, I'm used to working on Fords and GM. How does the self-adjuster work? Okay, some roads are 100 kilometers. Further out, 110. Yeah, that makes sense. That's how it is in Canada. When I was in Canada, it was like 100. It was 90, 100, 110, that kind of thing in Alberta. Disc brakes are so much easier, no springs. Yeah. I worked on, oh, wait a minute. Some disc brakes are a pain in the ass because they got all those little springy anti-vibration things. And then you get the new ones and they don't fit. You got to put the old ones in. Or you got to bend and cut and mess with the new ones that are made wrong. Yeah, my Ford van, the new anti-vibration, whatever you call those metal things, those sheet metal things in there, the new ones didn't, they sort of fit, but they didn't. Yeah, see, and I learned brakes in a brake shop in the early 70s. There were so few disc brakes. And the cars with disc brakes were new cars, so we weren't doing brake jobs on those. But I learned on just drum brakes, and I got really good at it back then. .130 to 140 is a comfortable cruising speed, though. Also helps you stay awake. 100 modern car puts you to sleep. You know what I found that makes a big difference is a cruise control. Pop the cruise control on. Of course, in an old Valiant, I don't have that, but pop the cruise control on. My leg isn't tired. I'm not concentrating on trying to keep the speed right. I just sit there and roll, and the common misconception is you get tired because of a cruise control, and what I found is I don't get tired because of the cruise control. And man, 130 to 140, yeah, that'd be nice to roll along like that. How's your Ute do at 140?
I'm going to hit this with the wire wheel real quick. Sorry for the noise.
What, 130B, well, 120 is like 37, or it's like 80 something. Ford had weird triangle slid. Ford had weird triangle slid pins hold on a caliper. Oh, slide pins. Remember those, like the Pintos and the Fairmonts back then? They had a caliper. There's a thing that slides in, then there's another thing that slides in that holds it in one bolt. You tighten that Allen bolt down, and that kept the whole shoot match from coming out. And those were the slides. Man, I like those. I really like those disc brakes. At the moment, 140 would be a bit scary. Top-notch condition, 160 or 100 miles an hour is nice. The neon comes down. The neon comes into its own at 180. That's rolling along pretty good in the neon. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't do that stuff anymore because I complain about other people doing it, like on the interstates, because they're so packed full of cars, and you get several people going 90 or 100 miles an hour and tailgate and everything. That's terrible. But on a back road where there's nobody like that, that'd probably be nice, cruising along at 100 miles an hour. I used to do that in the first gen Camaros.
Okay, that's ready to put a...
My 67 Camaro in California many years ago on back roads, cruising along straight road like that. Oh, it just said battery exhausted. Your camera went off.
All right, sorry guys, I gotta wash my hands and change the battery out.
She's got to deal with the battery.
It's really easy. It's just...
So that first gen, it was a 67 Camaro. Man, that thing at 100 miles an hour is just comfortable. It just sit there and roll, you know. But you really kind of got to be careful where you do that because you don't want a ticket for going 100 in a 55, you know. But then, you know, now there's so much traffic. It's just you can't do that anymore. Jack stands and cinder blocks. I'm out. Finished up in the shop. Got to rest. Plenty to do tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, but that's all right.
We might be here tomorrow, but not Sunday.
Yeah, we won't be here Sunday.
And we'll be in the studio on Tuesday, starting earlier in the evening.
Yep.
Probably 7 p.m. Central Time. So hope you can come back. Thanks for being here and commenting, hanging out.
Yep.
Really appreciate it.
Take care. Good night.
All right.
So
where was I at?
I'm not sure. You were gonna change a battery.
Battery. That's absolutely correct. I have a hot battery ready to go. Just gotta...
A hot battery.
Hot battery. Hot blooded. Check it and see. I got a brand new battery. Come on, baby. Can you do more than dance?
What are you singing about?
Hot blooded. Isn't Dean Stevenson here?
Dean Stevenson was here. He's been kind of quiet if he's still here. Yeah, I'm surprised you're singing. He isn't commenting. Oh, you had it over there on the where all the battery chargers. So that makes sense. Toto says, "Oh, I didn't notice. Should I have a try at doing the Dean jokes?"
What's up? All right. See if Elgato will come on.
See if Elgato will work. Okay. Oh, we got that.
It's okay. It's okay.
We got that thing.
You can fix that.
Oh, there we go. On second thoughts, maybe not. Most of his are over my head. Yeah, he does that to me too. Okay, Kim, you have a lighting issue, but other than that, you're okay.
Oh, I have my lights laying on the ground.
Oh yeah, now you got light. Well, barely enough. I mean, you know, there's a lot of light on the ground where that bucket that has a light in it, that's providing a lot of light.
It's messed to the wrong
place.
Yeah,
to the wrong place. Oh, leave it there. Oh man.
All right.
That brightens your brakes up.
Okay. But now for the moment, I gotta clean up this torsion bar before I can.
Oh, you gotta put the lower control arm and the torsion bar and everything.
And I gotta clean the torsion bar before I can get it to install. Use a file wheel.
Yeah, it was a late one last night, wasn't it? I'm sitting here thinking I'm gonna go to sleep early tonight. Going home at just before it gets light out. It was probably light where you were by the time we shut down.
Yeah, last night was crazy to the point of stupid. We just kept on going.
We can hear you over there filing or something. What are you doing?
Clean up the ends of this torsion bar.
Hopefully not with something abrasive. Oh, it's on the end. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning it up so it moves freely through the thing. Just whatever rust or...
Yeah, just not on the round part.
No, the round part doesn't get touched.
Tava, they have those Ford. I don't remember what it's called, C-Max or Z-Max or something. It's a hybrid car. Do they have those in Australia? I got one of those as a rental a couple of years ago. Interesting car to drive. Fuel economy was just about the same as my Mazda going down the road, but in town, it got 38 miles a gallon no matter what I did. So in town, it got 38. And Mazda wouldn't do that. And on the road, it got 38. It's just kind of a strange car, a really complex thing, but it was interesting. Just wondering if you had those.
Grease. Axle grease.
Axle grease.
And the lower control arm. There. I don't remember what I did with the big bolt that goes through the lower control. Remember there's a big bolt?
I sure do. Not heard of any here. Ford are a bit wary of electric motion here.
I guess I'll find that after.
Well, here they're really bound on making us electrify, and it's not really customer driven. And I was just wondering, I didn't know if in Australia if they're pushing it as hard. Toyota and Kia are big on hybrids. I had when I went to Oregon, one of the times I flew out there, I had it was like a year ago, I had a brand spanking new Toyota Prius, the new body style. And it was all weird, just like where controls are and stuff. And so I had to think a lot when I first got in it. But after I drove it for a day or two, it all just became natural where everything was, and how the funny little weird shifter thing. But I got used to it and drove it around for several weeks. It wasn't bad, I guess. And of course, if anybody knows how to do a hybrid, it's Toyota. They've been at it longer than anybody else, I think. Or maybe Honda too, but Honda doesn't have the.
Do you have
the number of them
on?
I do. We're watching you.
Oh, you can see me.
We're watching you move
Left, right. Do you have a preference?
What kind of preference?
Left or right?
Oh, it's the drum or the brake is right, kind of centered, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, go that way a little bit.
Okay.
Now that's kind of where the torsion bar is going to be, or the lower control arm. Oh yeah, the push is on down here big time. Okay. My tax dollars are going a long way to help the rich buy new EVs. Yep. Yeah, the whole EV thing it's crazy here, and there's car lots full of them, you know. And it's like, man, you know, they sit there for a long time. And of course, somebody like me or like Kim could never buy one. So when I get a rental that's a hybrid, yeah, it's kind of interesting. And I'm not going to take a rental that's a straight electric because I'm out in the, you know, I'm working out in the desert where you got to go a lot of distance, and I don't want to be out there with. Yeah, that's why I say a power grid is it's probably going to need to make some improvements there. Although, you know, most people are charging at night when the power requirements are lower, I guess, but still. I worked at a nuclear power plant in California, and they built another power plant up in the Sierra Mountains with 2 man-made lakes with hydroelectric between the lakes. And at nighttime, the power from the nuclear power plant, you know, they're producing way too much power, you know, during the night because the usage is way down. So at nighttime, they'd pump water from the lower lake to the upper lake. And during the, I don't know about daytime, but during the peak times, they'd run water back through a hydroelectric generators and fill the lower lake back up. And then at night, they'd pump it back up top again, which is pretty interesting, you know. Mostly RAV4 hybrids. Oh, RAV4 hybrids. Man, I didn't even realize the RAV4 had a hybrid. I had a RAV4 as a rental for about a month. Maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago. Tesla. Or burn your driveway full plug-in. Yeah, that's kind of, I kind of laugh at that. That charging your car, you're supposed to do it away from your house. It's like, oh, Kim, you just lost your camera for a second. Okay, it's back. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
It took a nosedive for a second. Went black.
Well, I was laying on it by
Oh.
mistake.
Oh, okay.
The way I wasn't supposed to do.
You know, I never really liked Toyotas a lot, you know, for any reason. I drove them a few times, but I just never really interested in them. And I had that RAV4, I think, for a month, and that was a pretty nice car. Let's see here. Are you changing bushings on both sides? You know what happened? The only reason she's changed the bushing on this side is because, why'd you change the bushing on this side? Oh, because the frame rail was rusted out. So
I had to take it off, so I figured I'd just.
She had to get it out of there, so we had it in our hands up on the vise. So we took the bushing out, and
once we had it out, it wasn't really all that bad.
Yeah, pressed the new one in, and there it is. So we weren't really out doing bushings. We were out fixing the frame rail, which is now fixed. There's no more rust down there, so that's a really good thing. Because we knew that was, when we got this car, we knew there was a rusty spot on that frame rail that was pretty bad. And so we had the engine out.
Curse you, Tony DeFeo!
Tony, UTG, she bought it from Uncle Tony. And he told her, oh, it's a good solid car, you know. And when we got home, she goes, no, it's...
No.
She goes, no, it's not. Oh, he did show you?
He told me to look underneath.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he told you.
The thing of it is it is a good solid car.
Yeah, other than that,
it does have a rusty spot on this but the rest of it is in
really
good shape.
The rest of it was really good. So
it's a very isolated damage.
So it's
He said it's still too good to throw away. Look at the floorboards and everything. And I said, yeah. And
so
we decided on a fair price based on the real condition of the car. It wasn't,
oh, okay. I didn't know he told you.
I knew that the car needed work.
So while we had the engine out, this whole thing started because the rear main seal was leaking. We thought, turns out to be a pan gasket in the back, and the engine's old and worn out. So while we had the engine out, Kim goes, well, this is the time to fix the frame. I go, yep. So, you know, the project got bigger, but now it's going back together. So now once this is back together, it'll be, finish the engine and install it and drive it. Oh, with a new clutch, because the clutch is all soaking wet with oil.
Yep.
But,
sometimes it happens that way.
Tavo says they had that
Project Bloat.
Yes. They had that idea down here. Pumped hydro. Started off with a $8 billion budget. So far about $15 billion and not looking anything like finished. Yeah. These projects always seem to have overruns.
Bloat.
Well, like that nuclear power.
You want it to be safe?
That nuclear power plant I worked at, man, that is. Well, and there's all the interveners, all the people that hated nuclear power, and we know who all those people are. Now the same people are pro-nuclear, so I don't know what happened there, but I don't know. So in California they had 4 nuclear power plants, or they're down to 1, which is the one I worked at, and it's up for decommissioning. And when that happens, that's also going to decommission the one up in the Sierra Mountains, because there's going to be no way to pump that water up and down, or up. They pump it up and it runs down. So I don't know. I don't know. Crypto mills and similar data centers strain the grid more than that. I don't know. And I think timing a lot has something to do with it, because most people aren't going to be charging their car in the middle of the daytime while they're using it. They're going to be charging it at night when the power requirements are lower.
What's going to happen is
I don't know. It still may not be enough if it's too many cars.
They're going to require you to tie your car into the grid so they can pull the electricity back out of your car when they need it.
Oh, Kim, I never even thought of that. Kim says they'll have you tie your car into the grid, and then they can pull power out of it when you don't need it. Because you can already.
Not when you don't need it.
Oh no, when they need it.
When they need
it. I had never even thought about that, because I know a lot of the electric cars you can plug stuff in, and like the electric trucks, the Ford.
Yeah, that's smart meters. They run backwards when you're.
The Ford, I think it was the Ford. They have the construction people are plugging their power tools into their electric truck, but then you're running batteries down, I guess. But I don't really know what the power requirements are of any of those devices are.
I mean, the voltage and everything on those cars is super high, so they can run it.
So my brother got 550,000 miles out of a 2007 Toyota 4Runner that impressed me. That 4Runner I had was a. Oh yeah, that was like
you guys are looking at the back of my head, aren't you?
We are.
You can go to the big screen for a minute.
You gotta clean stuff and do stuff.
A couple minutes getting my fingers.
I
greased all this up.
Okay, we'll go back to this. But I don't know what that 4Runner was that I had, or RAV4. It was a RAV4. It was a probably a 2021, something like that. And that was a pretty nice car. Our wild dream is that the solar will power the pumps to bring the water up during the day.
Yeah, and the wind will pull it up when it's windy, and then they'll have reserves for when it's not.
Wind pulling water up out of the ground, all over the U.S., there's all the old windmills, and a lot of them are still out there. And I lived on a piece of property in California. That's the only way we had to get water out of the ground, was one of those old-fashioned windmills. And it worked quite well, We were never running. We had to be a little careful with the water, but we had a tank, so you just always pump it until the tank is full, and make sure you shut the windmill off so it doesn't overflow. So we were okay with that. Our wild drainage, okay. Most 4Runners down here were diesel. Oh, okay. 500K would be just run in. And I've never been much of a diesel person. Used to be diesel here was cheaper. Now diesel here is quite a bit more expensive.
It used to be cheaper.
A lot of people I knew got into the diesel pickup trucks because the fuel was cheaper, and they didn't use as much, and it had power, had torque, and then the diesel got really expensive.
So, do you understand why the price of diesel versus the price of gasoline is the way it is?
Uh, I don't know, maybe somebody told me once.
It's the how they chemically crack the oil.
Oh, I don't know.
So, okay, so
I thought it was just someplace on the at the refineries. I thought they just pulled it off at a different level.
well, right, but depending on how they gear the refinery, they can make more gasoline or more diesel.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And so,
We used to, where I worked in Pennsylvania,
yeah.
the airplane shop there, their main business was not airplanes. That was the boss's hobby shop. Sort of. I mean, he built airplanes there, but his main business was building things called cold boxes.
Oh,
And a
yeah.
cold box is like a reverse refinery. They make it cold and they put air in, and then the air, it pulls off all the elements from the air. So, uh, you know how a refinery works. They heat the oil and pull uh, different chemicals off, and the cold boxes do it with air, and they pull all the oxygen and carbon dioxide and argon and whatever else is in the air. Kim's over there buffing wheel. Mom had an Oldsmobile diesel. It was a piece of junk. Oh, that was at 350. Yeah, that could have been better. Almost everything that's designed to carry anything down here is diesel. Petrol vans, or gasoline, petrol vans and utes are quite the rarity. I think Europe's a lot like that too, with the diesel.
Yeah, generally the refineries are set up to make more diesel instead of more gasoline.
And here, there, a lot of trucks are diesel. A lot of trucks are diesel.
Yeah, we have a lot of trucks that are diesel.
Car-based utes being the exception. Some engines has same engines as their sedan counterpart. Yeah, that would make sense. Then if you're Volkswagen, look what they did in the U.S. with the diesel. I can't believe they did that. They, I guess everybody knows the story. Yeah, when you connect it up to the OBD2 connector for the test, it knew, and then it lies when it changes the engine to run and put out the less bad stuff, and then when they disconnect the OBD2, it goes back to running well. A bunch of college students that were doing a study on this stuff figured it out. Volkswagen got busted for it. I can't believe a company that size would do that. A bunch of idiots.
They didn't think they'd ever get caught.
I just can't believe they'd even do that.
Rolled the dice. They thought they could get away with it. They did for a long time. They made a lot of money.
Yeah, but it cost them in the end.
Nobody else could sell diesel vehicles because nobody else could meet the standards. And they were like, well, Volkswagen's doing it. And everybody else was just like, grumble, grumble, grumble.
Right, Volkswagen.
Nobody else in the industry knew. It had to take some college kids, I guess, to figure it out.
Oh, man. Diesel VW Golf Rabbit over there was a big hit down here. There were a lot of diesel Rabbit pickup trucks, like utes. I don't know, do you have those down there? The little diesel Rabbit pickup trucks? Those things were everywhere. And now I don't see them anymore. Man, it's been a while since I've seen one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, do you remember, was it like that in the East?
There was not a lot of them around.
Oh, man, when I was in California, those diesel pickup, little Rabbit pickups, they were everywhere.
They were kind of cool, though.
Rattly little engines. I had friends that had rabbits, but they were gas rabbits. You know, they're little coupes or whatever they're called. Coupes or hatchbacks or whatever they were. Huh?
Got it. I'm listening.
Oh, I thought you.
I'm getting so much done. It's really going good.
You're using anti-seize for something.
I put anti-seize on everything so that it doesn't seize. It's
So it
like
doesn't seize.
It's like a thing. It's like a thing that I do. A thing that I do. The torsion bar is in place. Right like that. Lower control arm is being. Yep. Lower control arm bolt is being put in place.
Remember the little tiny T car GM had in the 70s? They made a diesel version of that down here, T. Oh, that's like the T. Is that the Chevette?
In the 70s. Yeah, that came out in late 70s.
There was a Pontiac version of it called was that the T1000 or something?
Oh, okay, yeah. That sounds right.
And yeah, I didn't know there was a diesel version of it. Oh God, those things came out. I had a friend that worked at a Chevrolet dealership. It's 19.
There was diesel Chevettes, yeah.
Were there? 19. Okay, Kim says there were. So 1976, the Chevette came out. It was a big deal. Advertising, car lots full of them. So a friend of mine worked at a Chevrolet dealership, and they used to have recalls on cars, and they'd have a kit, and he was doing a lot of the recall stuff. So they'd get a car with a recall, and he'd have to. I got the hiccups. I'm sorry. He'd get a car with a recall, and they'd have to install a kit. So the joke was 1977 was coming along, and they had just lots full of these 76 Chevettes sitting there, and they couldn't sell them. And he says, yeah, they're going to come out with 77 kits, so they make all the 76s into 77s. But then they started getting some 77s in, and man, I don't know what happened. That Chevette just caught on, and they sold all of them, and it became a
discounted them.
Pretty darn popular car for several years. Well, a friend of mine had one. He liked it. I don't know. It was a little, Brazilian, I think they were Brazilian engines.
I can't remember what I was doing.
Can't remember what you were doing.
What was I doing? What did I want? I wanted the...
I always thought the name Chevette, they had that name around for a while, and there was the Corvette, and I always thought the Chevette would come out to be a nice little, like a smaller sports car. But nope, it was that little boxy thing.
Yeah, we called it the Chitvet.
A what? What'd you call him?
The Chitvet.
The Chitvet.
Everybody knew what we meant.
Well, they ruined that name forever now. Because now, it was a pretty popular car for a while, but it wasn't a long-lasting classic car, So the people kind of make fun of them. Well, now I think they've forgotten them,
It's the same thing with every really economical, cheap little car. People drove them into the ground, and then they hated them because they broke. But they drove the living snot out.
Yeah, I know.
They got 1 billion miles out of them, but then they hated them because they wore out. It's like, well, nothing lasts forever. What are you complaining about?
All it says Chevets. I thought you'd like that car. It's a nice little efficient car. The thing about a world car based on the Opel Kadett, was it? Okay, and I think the engine was Brazilian. I worked in a nuclear power plant. We made really good money. There was a guy out there, and everybody had nice cars, and that's the era when the Camaros and Z28 Camaros and Trans Ams and all those cars. And this guy that I worked with was one of these, everything had to be efficient and, the environment and all this. And he actually had some of the highest seniority out there. He bought a Chevette, drove it back and forth to work. It's like, really? But he liked it, So.
I need the torsion bar.
They had a lot of early attrition,
Adjuster.
but those that survived seem to be in for the duration. I know there's a few of them that got drag raced with big engines in them, but they've pretty much disappeared. That was a while ago. They pretty much disappeared. our version, the Holden Gemini, is it Gemini or Gemini? Gemini was built here using a Zuzu engine. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably a better engine. You know, the car I liked up here that GM had that was a Zuzu was the
Oh, there it is.
the little Chevy, what we call the love truck. It was a LUV, which meant,
I've been looking for that. Looking all
oh,
over.
that's a torsion bar adjustment bolt.
Yeah.
The LUV, which meant light utility vehicle. It was.
Run the...
Oh, you're gonna grind.
Yeah. Sorry.
So.
Not grind. I just gotta run the.
So I had friends that called the love truck though. Here we go, noise. Shop noises. Maybe she's almost done. Yeah, it sounds like the dentist's office. Better not go in my mouth with a grinder like that, though. Wire wheel. So anyway, the LUV was the light utility vehicle, but I think it was light utility vehicle, but I had friends that used to call it the lousy unfit vehicle. But we had one where I worked, and it was we used it for a patrol vehicle, and it was 4-wheel drive, and that was one of the nicest little pickups there was. The shift was like magic going between gears. It was so nice, and I just really liked the Chevy love trucks, but they weren't around real long time. Well, the S10s came out. I think that was probably the end of it.
Well, yeah.
S10 was bad. I had a first gen S10.
They had the Iron Dukes.
With my favorite engine, an Iron Duke. But that thing was heavy. I weighed it one time. It was 4,000 pounds.
They are a heavy little
It's
truck.
like, oh my God, this little tiny truck. Why does it weigh so much? How is it?
The
Dense?
capacity of a truck like that.
Dense.
Really crazy considering how small they were. They had made.
Well, then I understood why it didn't have any power. It weighed as much as my 64 Ford.
Yeah.
That had a 351 Windsor that was built, and that thing had an Iron Duke in it. Yeah, now I know why people don't like Iron Dukes. They were slow because they put in a 4,000 pound vehicle. Like, wow. What'd you expect? Yeah, I understood dentist, not Denise office, but dentist office. I understood what you meant. Late 70s when the Japanese really found quality control in engineering. Man, you know, when the Japanese first, I remember the early 60s, Japanese products were like little paper umbrellas and stupid little stuff. Toys that broke and transistor radios that broke. It was pretty much thought of as...
It was broke.
Yeah, it's like like we joke about Chinesium stuff now, but it was way worse than the Chinesium stuff. And then as the 60s wore on, they came out with cars. And that was kind of like a joke. Oh, the Japanese are going to send us cars? And then my brother bought a Toyota, the first Toyota Corolla, the one that had the little, looks like the top was kind of like leaning back a little bit. He bought one of those. And that was a good little car. And the Datsun here, Nissan, they called it Datsun here. They had little boxy cars that were all right. And then they came out with the 510, the Datsun 510 in 1968, and they came out with a pickup truck that had the same running gear in it. Man, those things just ran forever. And yeah, the quality control just kept getting better and better and better, you know. And it got so that was the standard, not American. The Japanese stuff. I remember American cars all had like where a bolt would go in and a body panel. They were all slotted so the body panels would move around. You could get them lined up. The Japanese cars, everything was perfect round holes. The bolts fit in. There were no adjustments, but everything fit perfectly. It's like, oh, how are they doing this, you know? Of course, now everything's CNC, so everything fits, but then it was amazing the Japanese could do that. And that happened in about 10 years' time. Went from paper umbrellas to cars that were put together like that. It was amazing. I used to really like working on the Datsuns, though. Like 240Zs, 260s, 280Zs, and whatever the cars were after the 510s. 510s weren't bad. And then the new little trucks that had the little rounded fenders and everything, like in 70, what were they, set 1973, 74, 75. Those things were really nice. And it just kept getting better and better, you know. Fit and finish was second to none. And the same thing happened with the Koreans. Korean cars came out. What were those things? The Hyundai Excel. And they're a pretty shitty car. But then the same thing happened to Korean cars. The same thing happened to Japanese cars. They got better quickly. And I don't know how everybody feels about the current Hyundais and Kias. Man, the ones I've driven have been just nice, you know. I had a lot of rentals, so I got to drive a lot of cars over, usually like a month at a time. When you get to drive a car for a month, you get to know it real well. I'm trying to think of the last Hyundai I had was the small one. Kim, what's a small Hyundai?
Excel.
No, that's old.
That's old.
I mean, like the newer cars.
Hyundai,
I can't think of what it is.
Lant.
Oh,
Something
Elantra? Yeah, somebody in here will know. I had one of those things. I drove it all over the place. Got it in Yuma, Arizona, and I drove it up to where my father lived in California, which is a 500-mile trip. I was up there several times. And yeah, I had it for a month, and I was like, it's kind of a light-duty little car. It was great driving around town, parking, and getting in and out of parking lots because it was small. Yet on a trip, it was fine, too. Yeah, I know what you're trying to say there, Veloster. Yeah, that's a cute little car, too. In fact, I was just looking at one of those. Replace the Mazda. I-20. What's the... Oh, I'll look on my phone. Because there's like a intermediate sized car. Well, today's intermediate. And then the small... Yeah, I don't know if it's Veloster or Veloster. Those are like a 3-door thing.
Turn this camera back on.
They're pretty good. Turn the camera back on.
See if it does anything.
Yeah, okay. Hang on.
I don't know, it might not even see me.
Oh yeah, it sees you down there with a pair of Knippets. Stupid spell check, autocorrect. Oh, my phone's being a pain in the ass. Oh, Elantra? Yeah, the Elantra actually got bigger. But I think it's an Elantra that I had. It was a Hyundai Elantra. Yeah, but it was not the current generation. It was before that. The current one, I think, it looks like a much bigger car. I don't know why they do that. Everything's got to grow to gargantuan size. But and the SUVs of those two are what the Palisade and I don't remember what the other one. They're both on the same body. Those things are pretty nice. A friend of mine bought one of those things. It's like a luxury SUV. Pretty nice car. I don't know why we can't do that here. Yeah, Elantra, you got it right.
That's what I said the first thing, isn't it?
No, you said Excel.
Oh, okay.
We got a good view of your back again.
Yeah. It's not going as well as I had hoped.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the accent. Excel, yeah, accent. Yeah, it was an Elantra. The girl that rear-ended me in Maryland was in an Elantra. Smash! My sunroof flew open. Yeah, Elantra is yeah, I guess you'd call it a mid-sized car there. It's grown now. I look at an Elantra now, it's like, why is this thing so big? It's a good looking car, but it's big. Of course, I don't know. Depends on what good looking is. I'm really looking forward to finding a Fox body, something that's in good shape. I'm like really getting excited about that. Yeah, right. It's like a Camry size now. I don't know why they made it so big. I guess people like that, I guess. I don't know. I see them all over the place. I guess they're selling them. I don't know about now, but as of a year or two ago, they were selling them. Kim, what's wrong down there?
I probably hit this with a hammer when I wasn't supposed to.
Hit it with a hammer when you weren't supposed to. It's like a hammer ding in it now.
Yep, now I got a thread I can't catch.
Uh-oh, a thread.
You know how that goes.
A bad thread.
Before I ruin it, I'm going to cut this thread back straight so it'll...
You know, that's a tool we had in the Air Force called a thread file. It was a square. It was a long thing, filed, but it was, if you looked at it at the end, it was square. And all the files had all different threads. So you could go in there and you could file threads. Man, I miss having one of those things. I got to find one of those. You need to find a two-door 67 through 73 Valiant with rear roof damage. Well, I think my 72 Valiant could be. I either got to make a ute out of it or a wagon out of it. We didn't get either. But the replacement for my Mazda is going to be probably not something new. It's probably going to be something older with low miles. Try to find a old Fox body that's not, has under 100,000 on it and has been kept indoors, that kind of thing. LTD Fox body. Yeah, I want something 2-door. Those were all 4 doors, weren't they? I'm thinking like a notchback
Mustang. You guys see with that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Notchback Mustang, or a Ford Futura coupe, or whatever the Mercury version of that is, the Futura coupe. I like those things. I got enough 4-door cars around here. Want something 2-door. And those Thunderbirds, like the 88 Thunderbird, I guess that's a Fox body, but I don't know. It's a Thunderbird. I don't know, maybe. I don't really like them a lot until I see Dallas's, and it's like, wow, that's really something, but that's because it's Dallas's car and what he's done to it. The other Thunderbirds I was looking at, it's like the 02 to 04 Thunderbirds. That's a pretty useless car. It's a 2-seat car, which is okay, but it's got it's a Ford Jaguar engine, running gear. It's like, I don't know about that. Those are nice cars, though. Love to be able to send you a ute or wagon shell that you could build as a project using local U.S. parts.
Yeah, I mean, we don't
hey, buddy, that is not a pair of pliers. That is not a pair of pliers. That is a...
Oh, somebody got...
Yeah, he said, don't get the right size wrench instead of pliers. That is a special wrench that moves the
You're right, though. I'm being lazy.
It moves the jaws parallel to each other, and you can hold that so tight. That's a pair of Knipex. See how that works? That will hold so tight. You will strip out a nut with a proper wrench before you strip it out with that. And when I first saw somebody using that on an airplane, we just lost our connection.
With what?
Ow.
The internet?
Yeah. It's like, really, can anybody hear me? Anyway, those things are, man, right in the middle of this explanation, the internet takes a dump. Okay, so it's starting to come back. So anyway, those things are incredible. Look up Knipex, and you will find those things. They have about 3 or 4 different sizes of them, and if you hold a nut or a bolt with that, it will not strip, guaranteed.
Well, okay. There's nothing that you're going to grab it with better.
Yeah, I mean, that's not
They're
a pair.
Stronger than vice grips.
That's not like. The only
thing is they don't lock.
Yeah, it's not like going after the vice grips or like channel locks where it chews everything up. We had one nut that locked the. We had a ground adjustable propeller on the aircraft, and a guy went after that, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "It's the only thing that'll take that nut loose," and he was right. I was just amazed. I was so amazed I had to start buying them for myself, and I bought Kim a pair. So I bought her those. And now that's a pair of vice grips. What do you got vice grips on there for? To hold something?
Just to hold the shank because it's...
Oh, to hold the shank because it's just to keep it from turning.
I'm having some trouble here, I told you.
So the sound kept running fine. You were just pixelated like my first live. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I know every once in a while I'll notice it just drops out. Right now it's doing really well. But if it drops out too far, I get a...
It happens some nights.
Yeah, when you're done down there, we'll bring those Knipex up here and show how they work. Because if you get a pair of Knipex, you will never damage a bolt with them.
Yeah, it's not a bolt that you were gonna ever get off anyways.
It's an amazing tool.
You could show them off. Don't overdo it though. We're not sponsored.
No, I'm just saying. You give me a hard time about using pliers. These are not oops, sorry about that. They're called Knipex. There's now a Knipex that's it's a clone that's looks exactly like this at Harbor Freight. But if you see these, the way these work, trying to get it into the view, they run parallel, and when you grab something with this, they are parallel, and you will not slip. And of course, you can adjust them. I'm trying to get this into the camera, and I'm not doing well. Why can't I get this in the... You can push that button, and you can... I'm trying to do this in the camera, and I'm missing. So when you push the button, you can change the position, which I'm not able to do while I'm holding it. I don't know why I can't get it in the camera. But anyway, it's a pretty interesting tool. And my reaction the first time I saw somebody use them on a nut was, "What are you doing?" And then I was just amazed what we could do with them.
If you hated that, how about this?
Oh, now that's a piece of junk. I mean, it'll work, but...
Can they even see what I'm doing? Or do
yeah, I can see. Take your Knipex back. Much better tool than that.
This is fine. I've got the...
What do you got? You got a thread problem there is what you got, right?
Yeah, but I got it. It was spinning the shaft instead of pulling it in.
Yeah, buddy, find yourself a pair of Knipex and buy them.
You'll enjoy them.
You'll be amazed. I haven't tried the Harbor Freight clone. They look the same, but I don't know how they work. But you can imagine, Knipex, German tool. That's a pretty nice quality thing. What's it say down there? Oh, made in Germany. Yep. Pretty nice tool. And you can get them on Amazon. I don't know where else. Probably, maybe tool shops. I don't know.
What do you do when this happens? See the shaft in the center is turning?
Would Kim... What are you doing, Kim? Now you're using it backwards. What are you doing?
Look, the shaft in the center is turning.
Trying to see that real well. Okay, so that's so you've got the press fit in there. It's a taper.
Yeah.
Can you squeeze the taper in with a clamp or something, and then that'll seize it a little bit?
Maybe.
Because once it starts to seize in there, now we got focused on your hair instead of the completely out of focus now because it focused on your hair.
I can't fix that right this second. I'm kind of got my hands there.
Oh, there, now it's focused on the part again. Oh, yeah, there. Maybe do that, and that'll put some pressure on it. That might be enough. That just might be enough.
It's working.
Yeah, okay. And get a socket or something. Using my favorite old... That's a free wrench I got first week or two. I had my radiator shop. Some truck went speeding by and he'd left them up on the top of the truck and they were flying off on the road. I yelled at the guy and waved to him, tried to get him to stop. And he drove off. And so I cleaned them up and I painted them orange in there so I wouldn't lose them in an engine compartment. I've had those since 1975, and they were used in 1975. Flew off a truck. Yeah.
Oh, they're horrible. I'm stripping everything.
Yeah, buddy, find a pair, and they make like 3 or 4 different sizes.
They're nice to have.
The big ones. That's what we use.
Really nice to have in the emergency box.
I think this is the second of the largest size. Does it have a size on it? This one says 0 to 52 millimeter or 2 inch. And I think there's one bigger than this and there's a couple smaller than this. And I've done videos on it. I did one at No Name Nationals because we were helping a guy that was pitting next to us. And he had a little baby pair of Knippix. I said, "Look at this, Knippix," and I did some little thing on the video. It's pretty good. Cotter pin. I thought you were using drywall screws.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Those steering arms on my lower joint look longer than ours. Might have to send you a pair of Aussie lower ball joints. Speed up the steering. Don't put a zip tie. I got enough cotter pins selection for you can do anything. I even have some aircraft ones over here, but don't use my aircraft cotter pins.
Can they see what's happening?
Yeah, except they can't see the cotter pin selection. Except I'm surprised you didn't get on that with a box end wrench, but
I don't wanna, because I can't find one.
Oh, you can't find a box end wrench that fits that?
Couldn't find a big enough one.
What do we have, all millimeters?
No, I'm struggling. Gave up.
That's in focus.
Is it?
Yep. Oh, you bent both of them?
I didn't mean to. One bent and the other one wasn't supposed to. Must be upside down.
Everybody, that was a mistake. Yeah, just pull it tight and then bend the other one. You leave it really loose. Ah, there, yeah. But he says he's got a rusty nail you can use. Yeah, she did a video. I don't think she ever published it.
Of all the different things that we use.
Yeah, she was using a drywall screw into the nut that holds a wheel bearing in.
Alright, I'm going to turn this off for a minute.
Okay, we'll get out of the... Go away from the Elgato camera.
Away from the Elgato. I gotta clean these on the brush.
Something we have on that camera says Elgato. I think that split pin is a bit short. You know what it is? I bought a selection, and they the ones that are larger diameter are also longer. So yeah, now it looks like the right length. You lopped it off. Oh, something. What the heck? Something crawling on my head. She's over there cleaning something up on the wire wheel. Like every shop I've had, wire wheel is one of the best tools. Dirt Road Landing, back in the chat. Good evening, or good morning. Yeah, it's 1:35 in the morning here.
I gotta move this camera a little bit out of my way, so you guys kind of just
Said he just got back. Dirt Road Landing just got back from a wedding.
Oh, just now.
Yeah, but we don't know what time it is where he is. Maybe it was a late night wedding. Maybe he's way out west. Could be in Hawaii where it's still early.
All those things. Technically accurate.
Or he could be like Tavo on the other side of the date line. Oh, wait a minute. We're on the Tavo. We're on the same day. It's just late in the day over there.
It would make sense if it was a Friday night wedding. A lot of people do that.
Oh, same time as you. 0136 hours. You're military. Oh, 136. Oh yeah, you're in Chicago. I have my bench grinder wire wheel. Hardly use it. Really? The selection of those that fit the drill get good workout though. Really? Oh man, I've got one on a bench grinder here. I used to have in the radiator shops. I had a 2 horsepower uh, uh, motor with a grinding wheel on one side and a wire wheel that was huge on the other side. You had to be careful with that thing. And if anything caught, you just knew to let go of it, let it go launch into the wall because it'd take your hand off, you know. But yeah, I don't know what I'd do without a wire wheel. Still Saturday here, or as we say, Saturday. It is Saturday here, but it's yeah, it's like 1:30 in the morning. Air or battery tool, what's your choice? It depends. I don't like the noise of the compressor running, although I do like air tools. They're really inefficient. What's Kimmy working on? She shut her camera off. We had the split screen going just until you came in, and just shut it off.
I'll put it back on in a second here.
Okay, she's on the left front, putting the torsion bar and the lower control arm and all that stuff back in because I don't know when you were in here last, but there was a rusty spot in the frame, so she cleaned that all up and fixed it, repainted it, put the brake lines back on. Now she's putting the torsion bar in, getting the lower control arm back on. She's going to have to finish the brake on that side. She put a flex line on the brake on that side. Yeah, okay, back to the tools. Since the battery tools got better, I really like them. I mean, an impact wrench, like for pulling lug nuts off or big suspension parts or anything, my 1/2-inch drive electric impact wrench, I think it has more power than the air ones did. And the air hoses, yeah, air hoses are really annoying. Nothing more annoying a shop than tripping and falling over air hoses and electrical cords, you know. And I'll get my feet looped into them and fall, and yeah, it's just I hate it. So besides that, I mean, they got the power now, so we use the electric ones a lot. The little die grinders, she'll pour it ahead, and she'll do it with a big electric die grinder. And of course, I like the little die grinders. I can hold my hand and they have power, but man, are they noisy, and the compressor running, and that can't be efficient, you know. And then sanding with a DA, you know, the dual action sander. Yeah, I use my air. But I'd say I have actually looked for a good DA that uses a Ryobi battery because they last so long, you know, and they're so I've really moved over to the electric tools. And because pretty much all the electric tools we have are the same brand, we have like 3 or 4 chargers, so as soon as you get a low battery, you just plug them in, and every battery fits every tool, with a couple of exceptions. My former wife bought some, what are those things from Lowe's? Cobalt, like a Cobalt flashlight and Cobalt, maybe something else, and so we have and she left them here. So
yeah, batteries went bad, but probably just because they didn't get used.
Right? What, that light? The battery's bad on that light? The Cobalt?
No, we have one battery out of the 3.
Okay, so we still have one battery.
Yeah, but they all went bad. But I think it's just because they sat around. You got to use tools sometimes.
You know, I really like the Ryobi tools. I did some shorts on those, some short videos on those, and I got a lot of criticism over. Man, there's all the haters out there that hate Ryobi, and there's all the ones that like this brand or this brand, and all these people like it's like whatever their favorite one is, that's the only one you should buy. And I really, the only problem I've had with Ryobis is like 10-year-old batteries start to not last as long. That, and to me, that's like, I'll accept having to buy a battery every 10 years. You know, where I worked before, we had um, oh, what are the yellow ones that everybody likes? The Kim, what are the yellow battery tools?
DeWalt.
DeWalt. We had, where I worked, we had all DeWalt tools, and we got a load of bad batteries. They wouldn't last a month, and they were bad already. And I'd never want another DeWalt because of that experience. But then they bought some more DeWalt tools, and they were fine. So I don't know. Maybe they had a batch of bad batteries or bad batteries for a year or two or something. I don't know. So the I don't know. I think brand name's just your.
I felt like the DeWalt tools were pretty strong. You could really beat on them.
I had no problem with DeWalt tools. It's just that one batch of bad batteries.
And
So
the Ryobis have been really good.
yeah, Ryobis are really good.
I had the Cobalts. I don't know. They seem a little bit cheaper in quality, but I
Which ones are cheaper?
The Cobalt.
Oh, the Cobalt. Yeah, I don't know.
Which ones do I have? Mine are white.
You have some white ones?
Yeah.
I don't know. You also have a couple of Ryobis, don't you?
No, mine aren't Ryobis.
Oh, okay.
They're what are the other brands? I'm trying. What the heck they are?
Oh, you have here DeWalt, Milwaukee, Hilti. Where I worked in Arizona, they had all Milwaukee, and which I like having, as long as it's a high quality and they're all the same, so you don't end up with like trying to find the battery charger for the one you have. We could stick Milwaukee batteries in all the chargers from all the batteries. And that worked real well. I had a friend that had nothing but Hilti, but that's been a long time ago that I was hanging out with that guy, and that was oh man, that's probably 20 years ago. Oh, it's more than that. Yeah, it's probably at least 20 years ago. But I remember using his Hiltis. They were okay. And Tavo says Ryobi is great for occasional use. Don't need any better trades.
I mean, we use them pretty heavy sometimes, and they've held up. And that impact has a pretty good twist to it.
The white and black, I don't think there's a Cobalts. Our Cobalts are all like a dark blue color. But we only have a few Cobalts. I've seen these white ones in the store. Walmart has all those white ones that are.
They still have, yeah.
What are those? I've seen them in Walmart.
I bought them at a hardware store. Oh man, they're in the back of my van. I'm not walking over there right now, but I have.
So you're pulling your pants up. That looks good. Cute.
Oh, sorry.
That's cute.
That was falling out.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what the white ones. Remember, they're in Walmart. There's like all kinds of battery-powered tools at Walmart. They're white. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm loyal to Ryobi because we got like 3 or 4 chargers over there in the wall, and they all use the 18-volt batteries, and we just, why not have all the batteries the same? Hearts. Walmart are Hearts. Yeah, I don't know anything about them, but I see them there. They're white.
Yeah, no, that's not the brand mine are.
Hers are not Hearts.
But I know the brand you mean, yeah. But no, mine are something else, and they stopped having them at the place I bought them originally. They've been around a while. I can't remember.
Man, low-flying helicopter. I not only can I not only can hear it, I can feel my chest from the blades. Did you feel that?
No.
Oh, I could feel it. Wow. Hyper. Is that the name of one? Hyper?
No.
Kim doesn't know. They're down at the house.
If you said it, I would know, but that's all right. I had good luck with them. Go watch my old videos. They're probably in one of my old videos.
Yeah, look at the Kim Fixes Things videos. You might
Yeah.
see some.
Watch 50 hours of old Kim Fixes Things videos until you see them.
Man, that sounds like that helicopter's turning around. Got military near here. Hyper tools from Walmart? Oh, I don't know. Walmart Hearts. It seems, yeah, I remember that. They were like white tools with a red printing on them. Maybe they were white with black. I don't remember. I remember walking by them and seeing them all there. And
I need to stink it.
what do you need?
Oh, this will work. Never mind.
Oh, can we put you back on camera down there?
No.
No, okay.
Struggling.
She's struggling.
Struggling.
Trying to put a torsion bar in?
You know what? I put the torsion bar in too soon, and now I got.
Now you got to take it back out.
And I don't have the right tool. I'm trying to do it the wrong way. There it goes.
Okay,
Well,
Tavo
I got
says.
it out, but it's never going back in because I don't know where it is.
Tavo says Ryobi down here are a bit sneaky. Their basic range all use individual batteries. You have to buy the premium range to get ones that share the one type. Really?
Oh man.
Oh, Makita's kind of a turquoise color.
Are okay, but they're usually more expensive.
Yeah, I remember the first battery drills I used were Makita's. They use those long, skinny batteries that slide up in the handle like a magazine in a handgun. So I used a lot of Makita's back 30 years ago. I just Googled the Walmart tools. It might be either Hyper Tough or Heart tools.
They weren't Walmart tools.
She didn't buy them at Walmart, but hers are white. No, I remembered that because we were in Walmart buying oil and oil filter and some other stuff. And I go, look at this. Look at these tools. Huh?
Stupid name for it. That stinks.
Oh, she can't think of the name. Yeah.
It's over at the house.
And their tools are over at the house. So I don't know.
Sorry. Okay, I got the triangulated bar in there where it needs to be.
The triangulated bar where it needs to be.
Yep, now I gotta find the right direction to put this stupid torsion bar back in. It's got goop on the bottom.
It says Flex. Are they Flex tools?
Yeah, I don't know.
She didn't know. She didn't know that name. Where'd you buy them? Oh, you bought them in Pennsylvania.
I bought them at Lowe's or something like that.
At Lowe's. Yeah, because Lowe's is mostly Cobalt. But Lowe's does have a bunch of different brands, don't they? And now Lowe's is not just Cobalt, it's Craftsman. So they have all the red tools.
But they don't have this brand anymore.
They don't have the brand anymore, okay.
You know what I mean? They changed that stuff.
My first cordless tool was a 4.8 volt drill. Took out 8 screws from a roof before it needed charging.
Oh,
I remember those things. They had a little plug-in thing in the screwdriver. Yeah, that's Tavo said that. Hoagie says that drill was a Ryobi from the early 1990s. Man, yeah, things have changed.
I'm struggling. You son of a...
We actually have a chainsaw that uses a big Ryobi battery, and I thought it was like a joke, you know. But you know what? I can cut through. It's not fast, but it's
pruning saw,
but
not
it's
really a chainsaw.
It's not bad. If you got like a 2 or 3 inch diameter thing, it'll go right through it. Not gonna cut a tree down with it, but it'll go through it. And it's kind of funny actually, stand there with a battery powered chainsaw. Now we have another chainsaw that's gas powered and it wails, man. It'll go through anything. Don't get in the way of that. Kim won't even let me use it. You're too old to use this. She won't let me use it. You're too old and too feeble to use this. Kim, someday I'm gonna go out there with a chainsaw and just start cutting when you're not looking.
I did not say you were too old. Did I say that?
No, but you always take
That would
it.
be pretty mean.
You always take it and go, yeah, I better use this.
I can't use a chainsaw. That's too hard to work. I'm too old for that shit. That's the problem with the
See,
stuff.
I could swing this around and show you a little bit. Kim over there she's bending over the front of the car now, doing something. Now I've screwed my camera up.
You know what? Give me a minute.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Back in there and then...
It might be a Porter cable from a. Oh, is it a Porter cable?
Yep.
Yes, it's a Porter cable. You guessed it.
You
guessed it.
Who guessed it?
A dirt road landing.
Dirt road landing. Okay, the point system here at the channel.
You get points?
The point system.
Here we go. She gives points.
There is a point system here in the channel, and it is an on your honor. Okay, but we're gonna award you. You thought of Porter cable. It took you a good half an hour. So, I mean, it was a lot of work to figure it out. And I said I'd know it when you said it, and that's exactly what it is. I have Porter cable, and they're good tools. But they're probably like homeowner quality tools, you know, like woodworking and stuff like that. Real good for that. They have enough power for that. I wouldn't try and use them professionally, maybe. But maybe. I don't know. But anyways, Dirt Road Landing, I award you, what, 7 points? 6. 6 or 7, what do you think?
No, you told him 7, then you cheated.
7, I can't cheat you out. That's right. 7 points. Good job. Keep track of your points. They'll be important sometime later. Right now...
Awesome.
Right now, I think you're about in 4th or 5th place as far as points, just off the top of my head, because it's on your honor, because I don't know how many points I have awarded to who. And don't make me go back and back check you.
Oh, we're going to have to go.
Got 7. It's easy to remember your own
Go
points.
replay like 25 live streams to see who has what points.
That was a good answer. Way to go.
Yeah, good deal. 7 points.
That's a lot. I don't think I've ever awarded anyone more than 10. But I think somebody has more than 10 because they've answered
twice. Yeah.
Right, and I don't just give it away for anything, but I might give it away.
When he came up with that, I knew you were going to come over here and give him points.
That was good. That's worthy of points.
Tell us, that battery back then was as heavy as a modern one that lasts an hour. Yeah, it was good for like 8 screws.
Electric tools. Okay, so you want the camera back on.
Oh, I'm just asking if I could
see
if I could turn it on. Yeah, there's like an out of focus pile of, looks like foam on the floor. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's paper towels and a wrench.
Why is it out of focus? Would I get dirt?
It's focused now. It refocused. And now it's well, there's no light on the brake. Well, there is now. That whatever that big old white envelope is or whatever, that's so bright everything else is dim.
We'll fix that. It doesn't need to be. I pushed it out of the way.
Oh, it's not it's that. Yeah. Well, now everything brightened up.
You know what the other jack is? I've got to put this torsion bar in, but that'll only take a second, and then I will be back to work, folks.
That's your back. Okay. That's my favorite little ball peen hammer I was talking about last night. Taos says, how many points did I... Oh, wait a minute. I'm out of order here. Hammering.
Something's wrong.
But he says, how many points do I need to get a hot dog? Hot dog. Well, we're going to cook hot dogs in here one night.
I see.
We're going to cook hot dogs one night. We're going to cook hot dogs in here. Everybody likes, we've gone electric. We can cook hot dogs with electricity. Let's see here. Taos says, how many points did I get for being first on a live?
I gave you some.
That's right.
You're going to have to go back and watch.
And then you gave him more points.
Why is this not
You gave him more points for being back on the restart when it dropped out.
Why is this
Kim, your back's getting really dirty.
Dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe it.
Being on the shop floor.
Man.
We can't see anything you're doing. All we see is a big black smudge on your back.
I can't see what I'm doing either.
You can't see what you're doing either. Okay.
Be patient. I gotta get this stupid torsion bar in, and now it doesn't want to go now. Doesn't want to go now.
They served hot dogs and fries toward the end, after the dinner at the wedding. After many Jim's Coke and whiskey sours, that hot dog tasted delish. I did add ketchup on my hot dog. Oh, now we're gonna have, this is worse than politics. Ketchup on a hot dog, mustard on a hot dog, relish on a hot dog. It's like, I like chopped onions. Chopped onions, like yellow Vidalia onions. Chop those like into little diced onions. Where we go put that on a hot dog. Man, that's good. Oh man, it sounded like you were having fun there. Jim Beam, Cokes. Yeah, okay. You know what I used to like was Captain Morgan and Coke, but that was many years ago when I could drink such things. My camera's crooked. My camera got crooked. How did the camera get so crooked? I don't know. Hot dog. Yeah, mustard. That's what most people say. You can only put mustard on a hot dog. But then, it's like when John Cope was in here the other night. We were talking about hot dogs. And they go to Chicago and get hot dogs. Because he's up there near Chicago. And you can't put ketchup on. But they put all this other stuff on. They had relish and, I don't even know what it all was. It's just this giant thing. It looked great. I had chopped onions, relish, sport peppers, mustard, and ketchup. Yeah, I can't have bread, so I used to like to eat hot dogs in the bun. But Kim had some hot dogs and there were 2 left. So I just heat them up in the microwave and I put them on a plate with some mustard. But the mustard was a bit much, so I put a little mayonnaise in the mustard, mixed it up to calm the mustard down a little bit because it's a little hot side. So I just ate them on a plate. And I hadn't eaten a hot dog in so long. Man, it was actually good. Kim, we got to buy more hot dogs.
All right.
Sounds good.
Man. All right, I got that on there.
Sport peppers are like those skinny jalapeno peppers. Oh. Oh, you're trying to read the socket, but it's out of focus. So the torsion bar's in there?
Mm-hmm. Torsion bar's in. The what's that other bar that makes it go? Comes from the side. That's in. Also.
Pry bar?
No, that's not the thing.
I don't know. The bar that comes from the side. Cross member? I don't know.
I know you.
Man, when I was out in Yuma, Arizona, the huge Mexican population out there. And they eat these peppers that are about this big, and they're white. They might have a little bit of green tinge to them, and some of them are hot and some of them aren't. And I can't tell the difference. But
this bar, the one that goes from the front bumper.
The strut rod.
That's it.
Strut rod. Okay. So they take these things and they call them. I can't really say what they call them. Because I found out, I just call them that, and Mexican-looking girl says, "How can you say that? You're a white guy. That's a slur against white guys." I go, "Really? Because they're white peppers?" I didn't know that. That's just what everybody called them, you know. But anyway, they take those things and they stuff them with they cut them in half, make like a little boat out of them, take the seeds out of them, and then they put or maybe they just slide them open and then no, well, no, they're white. They called them. I'll just use the word. What the heck? They called them guaritos. But I don't know. I don't know what they were, and I can't find them here in Tennessee. They do not exist. So like when I get there, I'm gonna have to get a cooler and bring back a whole bunch of them. But they open them up and they put cream cheese in there, and they put a shrimp, and then they wrap bacon around it, and stick a toothpick through it to keep it all together. Cook it on the grill, and they're a little on the hot side, but the cream cheese calms it down enough, and the bacon's good. Man, are those things good. And they make trays of those things. You go to somebody's house and those are like the appetizer. It's like, man, I've made them here with a different pepper that are not quite as good. I mean, I wish I could get those peppers, but they're just wonderful. Guns and Gears. Good evening. How you doing?
Guns and Gears, welcome to the stream.
Man, you missed all the action. Kim just put the whole front suspension back together.
I mean, I got a lot done.
She got the whole left side that was rust in that rail.
When I found this washer I was looking for.
She
I was looking for this and I found it.
2 nights ago she fixed the frame rail. Last night she repainted it, I think, and then cleaned up a bunch of parts.
Paint on it so
and tonight, so it won't rust. And then tonight, it's like put the lower control arm in, put the brake back on, put the torsion bar in, get the torsion bar adjustment. She's trying to get the strut rod hooked up. But, this started out as fixing an oil leak in an engine and ended up being, while the engine's out, why not fix the rotten frame? Or frame member, whatever you want to call it.
There was just one spot. The whole frame isn't rotten.
No, it's just like one spot had this nastiness. Where is that piece? I left it here somewhere. I lost the piece.
Are you sure it's not on the top shelf up by the monitor? There's a monitor up there, I think it's
I'm looking. I don't know. Guns and Gears. I don't know if you were here. Oh, it is up here. Oh, just one spot. And I don't know if you were here or not when she cut it out. Cut it out one night, made new parts, put it all up in there. But
I'll give you a view. I'll give you a view of it. Let me
there it is.
This thing
and she cut that out and then made like an inner piece and an outer piece and sandwiched them together and welded it all up, and then she painted it with some kind of similar color as the car. But I don't want to start World War III, so don't talk to me about eating well-done steaks and burgers. Oh, man. When I was a teenager, I'd go home after school, and that's when I'd eat, right then. And nobody's in the house, just me. And my mother would almost always have some hamburger in the refrigerator. And I'd grab some burger, and I'd just pack up a burger, and I'd put it in the pan. It was like, psss, and flip it over, psss. And it was like hot right along just barely. And I'd make a burger. And it was like the inside was basically raw. And it was so good. But then I learned as I got older, not supposed to eat ground beef like that. So now they're more well done. Man, I miss those. I really miss those burgers like that. But it scares me now to eat something like that.
Know your butcher.
Well, and I can't eat the hamburger buns anymore. Oh, and if my mother had seen that, she probably would have liked it. My father wouldn't eat any meat unless it was well done times 10. And my mother always said, like, they went to a restaurant, she'd want, like, extra rare. And my father'd, like, well done, and then it wouldn't be good enough, you had more. There's a reason for it. My father's mother died when he was 2 years old from food poisoning from a problem with some meat. And so he was really conservative, with meat. But I do like steak tartare. What is steak tartare? Steak tartare. Don't know what that is.
Steak tartare.
Steak tartare? What is it, Kim?
I don't remember.
Man.
I think
You know, that's a story. My father was
basically raw meat.
he was born in Tampa, Florida. His mother died when he was 2. He had a brother 3 years older than him. So his father now is beginning of the Depression. Beginning of the Depression, his father loses his job. He's got 2 boys, ages 2 and 5. Talk about a bad position to be in. They had relatives out in California, and he had a Model A that was almost new. Put the 2 boys in the Model A, off to California. You know, can you imagine that? A man with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, all the way to California in a Model A. Dropped his 2 boys off at his cousin's house. He drove back to New York City and got a job. And then he came back out. He got a job, got himself a place to live, drove back out to California, picked up the 2 boys and brought them back to New York. So my father ended up growing up in New York City. But, just imagine that tragedy, And, it's a pretty good guy, Oh, there we go. There's where Kim fixed the frame. And she put, can you get around the other side of it too? Maybe. Oh yeah, you can see all that. Yeah, see where the piece was. Oh yeah, and a couple of plug welds, and then welded it back there at the back. Cook until the smoke detector goes off. I've made that mistake before.
And then, okay, getting the other one's going to be a little more difficult.
It's raw meat, preferably filet mignon, finely diced. Add an egg yolk, no whites, olive oil, salt, pepper, diced onions, and the thing just went off.
Okay, wait, it'll come back.
Okay, and a little soy sauce. Good eating. Wow. I almost raw hamburger to me is so good, but I'm not supposed to do that. The reason why is because when you grind it up, any bacteria on the outside gets all ground through it. Whereas a steak, you don't have that problem. Any bacteria is on the outside and you cook it, So you can eat a very rare steak. But Kim, I'm getting hungry thinking about that.
I can tell because you're talking about food again. We're going to be done pretty soon.
But he says, cook until the smoke detector goes off. Have we ever done that?
Climbing into the stinking engine for you guys.
She's climbing in.
Because I care that much.
Oh, what's that thing? That's a torsion bar. And there's the frame where she repaired it and put the brake lines back on. All the brake lines, all that stuff was off. And you can see where she did put a finger patch on it because there's a cut right there to bend that channel. And yeah, that shouldn't break. And it's 1/8 inch, and originally it wasn't 1/8 inch, it was thinner than that.
Yeah, it's way thicker now than it was.
So it's probably that's out of focus for some reason. It's in focus when you back off like that. Yeah, about a month ago, you made a video of you and Kim taking the Dart to the Hilltop grocery store. Did you ever fix a gas tank leak?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that day.
Tell them what did we do? You know what? I got to turn this off.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your camera away again because it's going off and on. Okay, so let's see.
The rubber gasket around the sending unit had swollen and puckered. And before that, we had it out 3 different times.
There's a gasket around there where the sending unit goes on. Well, it was, that's a good word, puckery. So what happened was it was leaking around that sending unit. And so she pulled it out again. What did you do? Replace the gasket?
I bought a new one, yeah.
Bought a new gasket, put it all back together. Doesn't leak at all.
And then before that, the problem was the time we pulled it apart. Before that one was the place where the wire comes out for the sending unit.
Oh yeah, that leak was where there's like a little grommet where the wire penetrates
Yeah, and I tried to use an O-ring, and that was a no-go.
Where it penetrates the sending unit, and that leaked. So she made a thing that's insulated that has it's like a stud that goes through. You make a connector on both sides. So
and then I had to take it out one
leak.
other time because remember the sending unit, when you went up and down, it was intermittent. So to clean it and bend the little tabs so they made good contact, and then we were getting good signal, and now it works good. Now we're working on the motor.
You didn't bend the tabs. You straightened them because they were bent because they weren't working right.
I guess.
So you straightened
them to the proper place.
Straighten them to the proper place.
Wow, Buddy Carafano is still in the chat, or did he leave and come back? Guns and Gears is still back.
Guns and Gears.
Hey guys, thanks for coming and hanging out. We appreciate it.
He came in, but
it's a late night session here. I think we should probably.
We're getting late, aren't we?
I gotta feed you, and then.
I haven't. You know, it's 2:00 in the morning. It's after 2. I haven't eaten yet. That's a mistake. That's a mistake.
He gets grouchy if you don't feed him.
I was about to get something to eat. She goes, "I'm going up to the shop." I go, "Really?" Okay. So I put together a thumbnail real quick and headed up here. Oh man. The Hilltop Grocery Store. And that place is on a hilltop.
It is up the hill, man.
It's not a bad grocery store. It's a locally owned grocery store, and it's actually pretty good. It's become what's really good about that place is they have their own butchers, and they do their own. All the meat is not like shipped in from somewhere already packaged. They do it right there, and the prices are pretty good, and the quality's good. So we started going up there more often, and so just another place we can drive the dart. My meat has to be cooked right through. That doesn't mean it has to be like leather. Once had an inch-thick porterhouse, consistent color right through. You cut easy with a plastic picnic knife. Oh yeah, I like it when you cut meat like that. Oh, it says pretty sleepy here. Was finishing up a few things. How's your wood project? Are you still working on that, or did that get finished? All the stain and all that. Yeah, Dirt Road Landing says that was an interesting video, a fun video. He says the hilltop. Yeah, we came out from there and
taking out the car for the first time.
Came out from there and
there was a puddle.
Fuel going all over the place. It's like you got a match. There's a story. My mother smoking. Man, she smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and I didn't really like that. But anyway, we lived on a hill. Keeps hammering.
Sorry, I'm installing it.
You done hammering?
Yeah.
Okay, so we lived on a hill, and I had a '66 Chevelle, and it had 283 and an automatic in it, if that makes any difference. But the Chevelle's pointed downhill. It's parked on the hill, and there's a little curb, where water's supposed to run down the side of the street. So I'm putting a fuel pump in it, and I can't get the fuel to stop leaking from the tank because the car's pointed downhill. So I'm trying to get the line hooked up really fast, and there's a big old stream of gasoline going down the street in the gutter. And she comes out there smoking a cigarette, and I go, hey, you got to put that out because this is all gasoline. And she takes the cigarette out of her mouth and throws it in what she thought was water running down the gutter, and she threw it in the gasoline. And it put the cigarette out. I was like, it just went right out. And I'm like, oh, wow. She's going to burn the whole neighborhood down. Oh, man.
Just trying.
Yeah, nothing bad happened. I learned you could put a cigarette into a puddle of gas and it would probably go out.
I've seen people do things like that.
And it would go out.
It's pretty mundane.
Oh, the wood's pretty okay. We'll need housemate to get to next stage of related wire organization. Oh yeah, that's right. You're doing all the Yeah, all the cables. Buy meat from local farmer, tastes better and cheaper. You know what? There is a grass-fed place that's just far enough away that it's a little bit inconvenient. But every time, we get paid once a month. I get my Social Security once a month. I tell Kim, as soon as I get paid, we're going out there. And then we end up going to the local store up here. But grass-fed beef is the name of the place. It's kind of south east of Clarksville. I've been out there a couple of times and bought stuff from them. And yeah, it's really good. And they have beef, they have chicken, I think they have pork, and then they have all their own spices that are some mixture they make that you can buy and sprinkle on seasonings to put on meat before you cook it. But yeah, we got to go out there. Okay, Buff and Kimmy, time to get some sleep. Have a great night, and I'll catch you guys on the next live. That's Dirt Road Landing, and
We'll probably be here tomorrow, but not Sunday.
Okay.
Monday.
We're not making commitments about tomorrow. Maybe Sunday and Monday not, but Tuesday, because Kim's got surgery on Monday, so we got to deal with that.
Yeah,
and then she thinks she's going to be good enough to do the live on Tuesday night.
At least be able to get you started.
So Tuesday night, 7 Central, United States Central Time, 7 o'clock. Tuesday night we'll be here for sure. Absolutely agree, buddy. One of my coworkers has a hobby farm, best lamb in the state. Lamb, that's something it's really hard to get here. And when I get lamb here, you know what it says? It's imported from Australia. The last time I bought lamb, it said imported from Australia on it. I don't know why we don't have lamb here. Oh, yeah. You probably can get it from here. I just don't know where. The only thing is buffalo. Buffalo burgers are a big thing out west. But I can't tell the difference between buffalo and beef. But people probably can. There's a YouTube channel where the guys are butchers, and they do both buffalo and beef. And of course, they know all the differences. Kind of interesting to watch. Yeah, Kim, we got to go out to grass-fed beef.
All right. Well.
All right. Yeah, and we never do because we're getting in a hurry and we're doing other stuff.
And I'm worried it's expensive, and groceries have been.
You know it's going to be expensive.
I know, and I know it'll be good too, but that doesn't mean I.
We have sheep in the USA. I know I've seen them. I've seen them out in fields. I've seen them around. When I was at Travis Air Force Base, I was right on the edge of the base, so there's a fence. And then big old field. And it was all sheep out in that field. And but that was many years ago. I don't know, they've got to be around. And there is one store here, local store, that's they have seafood, but they also have things like rabbit and alligator and goat and all these other kinds of meat. So occasionally I go up there. It's hard to get very good lamb down here, but we get the Aussie stuff. Yeah, that's what my experience was, the Aussie stuff. Oh, I love buffalo burgers. I don't know where to get that around here. A bunch of sage, a bit of paprika, brings the flavor right up. Man, I had a friend that was, another friend that got killed in an airplane accident. He used to cook with, everything he cooked had rosemary and sage in it. And it was so good. And at whatever he used to, he'd make this pot of stuff with cut up meat and vegetables and that rosemary and that sage and but that whole taste of that stuff, he died in an airplane accident. That's a smell I'd like to smell again. We do tavo, but only so many in the South. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, hammering. Throat's bothering me. My throat is really bothering me tonight. Don't know why.
I don't know.
I see boxes once in a while, labels on them. I'm thinking, what is that? says something like recipe ceramic eagle. I don't know what that is. Bravo. Estimated 78 million sheep in Australia, according to Mr. Google. Wow. 26 million people. So yeah, we can export some. Okay, well I don't feel so bad taking it. Next time a ship comes over with a bunch of sheep, throw a ute on board. They won't notice.
I think it would be pretty expensive to get one over here.
Yeah, shipping a ute over.
Be cool though. Very unusual.
Cut it up into little pieces and put it in envelopes and weld it back together. Nah, that won't work. You know, Tavo, you really helped me though, because you sent me all the drawings with the dimensions and pictures that I sent you with little dots and lines, and you filled the dimensions in for me on those. They're pretty good stuff, you know. And it doesn't need to be exact. It needs to be a workable ute, you know. And probably do that. But the aluminum car comes first.
The aluminum car comes
Well, this comes first. Getting the Dart back on the road, which shouldn't be too much longer, and because this project's going really, really well, and then the aluminum car, and then whatever else we have. I'm sure there'll be other stuff, and of course still got a Studebaker, and we got a Ranger truck, and we got a we got a what's the other truck?
Ranger truck, a Bronco 2.
Oh, a Bronco 2.
The Ranger truck's gone.
Bronco 2, and we have a Dakota truck, and we have some other various trucks.
Dakota truck.
And
then we have that green truck was.
The green truck's really close.
It was supposed to be our firewood truck this year, but maybe next year. I don't know.
Also, I've been doing a lot of grilled kebabs and yakitori. I'm not sure what that is, yakitori. Getting pretty good results. Kim, how much later you want to be here?
We can be done as soon as you're ready. I can.
What are you doing down there? You shut your camera off so nobody knows what you're doing.
I am putting together the front end here now. I'm putting bolting the lower control arm to the backing plate.
Bolting the lower control arm to the backing plate. Oh, where the steering arm goes on.
Yeah, the lower control arm goes through the. Yeah.
You're at the steering arm. Yeah, the lower control arm actually attaches steering arm. Steering arm attaches there.
Lower control arm.
Oh, to the knuckle.
Is part of the ball joint. It's the same piece.
Yeah, and then the knuckle. It goes on the ball joint.
Mm-hmm.
And then the knuckle has some kind of casting pieces on there that attach to the backing plate.
So technically the suspension is locked back together.
Suspension's all back together. Excellent.
Well, it's not tight, but it's mocked. It's all here.
Well, I'm thinking about heading home here pretty soon. It's 2:30 in the morning, and
yeah, let's sign off.
Let's go get some food.
Let's sign off because I'm beat, and
all
I'm
right.
still working because you're still talking. But
thanks for being here,
everyone. Thank you so much. I'll put together a video here before too long about how things are going. But I hope you got to see. We did show the painted frame rail and the torsion bar installed.
Oh, I'll answer. Chicken skewers, Japanese style. Okay. Maybe I could ship just the upper B pillars. You could fabricate the rest. Oh, jeez. I could get steel here. We got sheet metal.
We got sheet
metal. But thanks anyway.
I told him we should just put the front end of the Valiant onto the Dakota. He didn't like that idea. Just put the front fenders and front grille on the Dakota. It won't look too much difference.
But you
could make some faux sort of things.
Sit in it, it's got to feel like a Valiant.
All right, that's fair. Guys, thanks everyone for being here. We'll be back probably tomorrow night, but at the latest Tuesday, 7 Central Time.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Get some sleep, damn it. No. That's the wrong one. Hit no. No. You have to hit no. Now you hit... Okay.
Now I hit this one.
Technical buttons.